Okay, that's looking better. Right, we're on. Cool. Let's just adjust the camera a little bit so people can read the message. Hello, everybody. Welcome in. Thanks for joining another stream. I'm going to try and keep slightly cooler heads today. I did maybe get a little bit carried away yesterday. All right, we've got someone already. Let's bring them on. Hello, how you doing?
You know, you strike me as an insane person.
Well, it's good to be seen as, unusual in a terrible and evil society, though, right?
Wait,
Why would you want
think
to be seen as a normal person in a crazy world, right?
But is this not the best society we've ever had?
No. This society is a meat grinder running on cruelty, exploitation, suffering, and abuse.
Yeah, but is it not better than like 300
Just
years
because it's
ago?
better doesn't mean it's okay. Does it? No.
How much better can it get?
What, you think this is it? This is the limit?
I don't think it's the limit. I'm asking you, how much better can it get?
Much better. We can have total extinction and a suffering-free world for all.
So you would like unalive your mom? Your life is poor.
Yeah. It should be back now, right?
Yep.
So, yeah, what were you saying? What was you had some sort of argument, I think? Maybe.
Yeah, you wouldn't unalive your whole family?
Well, the thing is that extinctionism is about understanding that life existing in extreme danger is a bad thing, and that the safety that life deserves exists within non-existence. So, being here is the problem. So, yeah, absolutely, we understand that every single life that currently exists in this world would be much safer if they hadn't been born.
It was a yes or no question.
Yes.
So can I now phrase the question like this? Would you unalive a little child in Palestine?
Well, I've already, basically given an answer. It would be yes for everything. Safety is a good thing, right? Everyone's in danger right now, so safety is better than danger, right? Why would you force a child to exist in Gaza and Palestine in the first place, right? They're having their arms and legs blown off, starving to death, right? So that's not a nice experience.
And you don't believe in God?
And he was saying that I'm the insane one. Thank you, Axrom. It's been a great conversation. Shroom and others joining us now. I am going to try and stay a little bit more calm and relaxed this stream. Hello, Chaz. How you doing?
I'm okay. How are you doing?
Good.
Now then, how do you propose that we can achieve mass extinction?
Yeah, euthanasia, basically. We can carry out, euthanasia.
Well, life disappeared, almost disappeared, when this giant asteroid hit the Earth.
Yes, but that was an uncontrolled event, right? There was no planning or science behind that.
Yes, but I think what has driven you to this, because you are disappointed by the spooky father figure called God presented by all religions.
No, I'm an atheist, so I don't believe in God.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I mean, this spooky father...
No, I'm not afraid of God because I don't believe in him.
Yeah, this spooky father figure of religion does not exist.
Okay.
Right? I'm just going to propose an idea how this existence has come about. Once there was knowledge,
it came about through nature.
No, once there was knowledge, there was nothing else. Knowledge of all that existed, that existing, that will ever exist was about, but knowledge did not have experience of its knowledge. So knowledge turned...
Sounds like you might be having a stroke or something. I would suggest medical attention. Just sounded like you weren't making sense, and I'm worried for you. Hello, how you doing?
Doing good. How you doing?
I'm good, thank you.
I just have a question actually about your cause and all that. Is there a concern or anything of, let's say, everyone volunteered and mass extinction actually occurred? Are you afraid that everything could happen again, like life?
Yeah, absolutely. So we are not advocating for causing extinction and then leaving it to come back. The majority, the most important part of our mission is prevention of life coming back for Earth and as much of the universe as possible.
What would you do? Like, I guess y'all probably have looked into it real good. What would you do to prevent it coming back?
Yeah, it's that's it. That's the thing. You know, we need to actually research it. So, you know, it's like saying, "Oh, you want to cure cancer? Well, how are you going to do that?" It's like, well,
Yeah.
obviously, I'm going to do some science, get some resources, and research how to do it.
No, I've seen you a few times in my rotation. I thought it was an interesting concept and all that. And yeah, I just wanted to ask that question of what if it all came back and
Yeah, I mean, yeah, look, that it will be challenging to make sure it doesn't come back. But we have millions of years to research how to make that happen. And look, 1,000 years from now, the science and technology we have is going to be just so far beyond what we can even understand now, right? So even 100 or 1,000 years from now, extinction will be super easy, barely an inconvenience.
do you see any issues with the other? Um, I guess I mean definitely with your stance versus other members of science and technology, like the singularity with and technology mixing together. You said technology advances. How
Yeah.
do you know that there? I mean, I know there are groups that are working towards advancing life with technology. Do you think there's any like how do you combat those types?
Well, those are
Basically,
mostly just
technology
companies
for
that you're talking about, right? Businesses.
yes, yeah,
So
exactly.
that
So I
they're just
guess
going to do what they're going to do, and we support and agree with improving conditions for humans. Curing illnesses and diseases and making life better. That's all. That's going to make our mission a lot easier. Yeah, people should be living better lives. Right now we live in a world run by criminals and billionaires, and people that think that suffering is a good thing. So yeah, we need to take over the world, take power, change the world, make it against suffering, and start carrying out total extinction.
yep. I mean, maybe, maybe not. I don't know.
But
That's my
the
whole
thing
thing.
is, if you care about the sufferers, then this is what you'll do. Because like there's no other way to end all suffering, right? So if you think that suffering's unacceptable, then you have to go along with the way to get rid of it, right?
Gotcha. Yeah, exactly. I guess I have to look inward on myself. Of if is suffering bad, or is it just a part of nature, like everything else? So,
The thing is, people say, "Oh, it's just nature," but that doesn't make it better, right? The victims of nature and forced existence and birth they don't care, right? An animal being eaten alive in nature doesn't care if a human is eating them or if an animal is eating them. In fact, it's worse if an animal is eating them.
yes. Exactly. No, and I'm not saying that it is natural. Like it is natural, but I'm not saying that it's good or bad because it is natural. I'm just saying that it is a natural
Yeah.
occurrence that we have to live with, or that we are
But
living
we
with.
don't have to live with it, though. That's what people are doing. But we can say, no, no suffering is acceptable. Let's make sure that we have a suffering-free world.
Yes, I guess suffering doesn't overshadow the good that comes from life, though. Too.
Oh, it
So,
does. It does. It definitely does. There's no
which
pleasure in
would
this
you agree?
world. There's no pleasure in this world that outweighs the suffering of, a child being abused to death or an animal being eaten alive. There's no amount of ice cream you can lick or pizza that you can eat that makes it okay.
Uh, but all four of those events you just listed are separate events in
Yeah,
general.
but they're not separate, right? Life has
They
unlucky
are.
ones and it has the lucky ones eating the pizza, right? So again, no
Yes.
amount of pizza can make the unlucky ones suffering justified. So we have to just have a zero tolerance policy on suffering, and that means a zero tolerance policy on life.
But that's just to say that those who don't suffer as much as others are just lucky, and that's not always the case.
Well, they're luckier, though, aren't they? And then a lot of them go on to say that the unlucky ones should keep suffering.
The reason why I say that they like luck may not even play a factor into it is the fact that you may study the reality around you, and you can live within the reality around you and make good decisions and for your life, and the good consequences occur to your life. That doesn't mean you're lucky. It's because you put forth the work and the education.
There's definitely unluckier people than those that are having a good life, though.
I suppose.
Yeah.
I don't even know the statistics on all that. Like,
who's luckier, a billionaire or a child being murdered?
Who's luckier? Luckier in the situation that they're in? Who's luckier in the parents that they have to not care about the child?
Yeah. Thanks for coming on. Once you start to struggle to answer simple questions like what's 1 + 1, that's it. You've had your time. It's time for someone else. Hello, Spooky. How you doing?
Hi. I'm not going to stay long. I agree with you. Just letting you know, I agree with you. I've been following you for a while. So you're the only person I agree with everything with. So I don't want to stay too long, but I agree with you. But anyway, in 1804, the population hit 1 billion people. In 1804 is the first time the population hit 1 billion people, according to the internet. So I don't know. In 1950, the population was 2.5 billion people, right? And right now it's about 8.3 billion people. And the experts estimate in the year 2100, it'll be about 10.4 billion people, So, but I agree with everything. I'm going to let the opposition come up, but I agree with you. So you could just drop me. Okay, thanks.
Sure. Thanks for coming up, Spooky. Appreciate the support. Join our Discord, join the WhatsApp through the website, link on my profile. Get active, join the movement. There's loads of ways to start doing activism. Really easy ways to start. Like you can take like 1 minute out of your day to post a video with text on TikTok and ask for people to join the movement and grow it with us. Hello, how you doing?
Hi. Hi, do you hear me?
Yeah, loud and clear.
Okay, sorry for my English. I just disagree with you about the wildlife because I think even though they can suffer in the moment that they kill each other, but they spend the rest of their life free, not in a cage. What about
Well, you
that?
say that, but over 99% have a horrific death during childhood. So they're not having good lives. They live in the worst conditions possible. Imagine if you had a baby and you left them in a forest with no help, naked, right? They're going to have a bad time. Okay, and that's what
Yeah,
happens to
but
most
even
animals.
yeah, but imagine in a cage all your life, or all your life in a cage is for me is worse in a cage.
Well, why
And
can't we just agree
yes,
that it's all bad?
yeah,
Why do we have
yeah.
to try and
No,
make it about
I mean,
their suffering is better?
I think they are reasoning differently from us because they are animals, so
So animals
they
don't suffer?
perception
Animals don't suffer then?
they suffer differently.
Why?
They perception of suffer because
So
they don't
abusing animals is
ruminate.
okay. So it's okay to abuse
No,
animals.
no,
Why?
absolutely
Why
not.
not? Why not?
No, I
Why
mean,
not?
no,
Why
no,
not?
I
Why?
mean,
Okay, why not?
listen,
You just said
I'm
they don't
just
even
saying,
suffer. They don't even suffer. So why is animal abuse bad?
they are not about ruminating from tomorrow. Oh, I'm not gonna eat. Oh, I'm not gonna drink. They have another lifestyle.
Okay, yeah, they're sitting by the pool drinking cocktails. Yeah, sure. Okay, whatever. Okay, whatever you say. All right. Moving on. Let's get somebody else up. Hopefully someone a bit smarter than that doesn't watch a Disney film and think it's real. Who else we got? Cora. That's funny. All right. We've got quite a lot of people in the queue, so we're going to get lots more people on. Hello, how you doing?
Doing good. What's up?
Yeah, good. Do you have any questions?
Sure. How did you come with this original concept?
It's not my concept. It's not an original concept. I didn't start this movement. The movement started around 3 years ago and has been growing globally ever since. I joined last year, and yeah, we're growing globally until we have enough people to take power and carry out total extinction.
How do we do that?
We do it by activism, growing the movement until we have enough people to start
No, the
working on
total
making it happen.
extinction part. Like, what does the finality look like? What's the execution plan that you'll put in place?
Yeah, so the plans still aren't finalized, right? Because it's a small movement at the minute, and we need to grow and start fleshing out, the finer details like that. But at the minute, all you need to understand is that we should work towards a world with no suffering for anyone, and that's what we are doing.
Oh, okay. Well, it sounds pretty lame. I'm sorry for that. I think the way you could improve it is
Okay. Thanks for your time, Guts. Really, really appreciate you coming on. It's been an absolute pleasure. Hello, Saint, how you doing?
I'm good. So in my opinion, your movement, like, it doesn't matter the intentions behind it. I think it's impossible. I think
Why?
ending all suffering of all living things is impossible because
Why?
even if you extinct all species, then life already came out of no life. So who's to say that a new
Yeah, we should
organism
try and
doesn't
prevent
evolve?
that. We should try and prevent that. That's
How do you prevent that on a galaxy and like wide level? In another
science,
planet?
technology.
I don't think that's possible.
Why?
I don't think, because it's just like a law of nature that something came out of nothing.
Yeah.
As long as there's something in the world,
I
life
agree.
can come out of that.
Yeah, but that's not necessarily true, though, right? You have the majority of planets in the universe, according to our best science, are never going to develop life ever. Okay, so it's not like every planet is guaranteed to develop life, and yeah, we can prevent it from developing life again. We have all of the time in the world to do this. Again, you're limiting your thinking to today's science and technology. If we had the entire planet working on this for millions of years, even hundreds of years would probably be enough. So yeah, it's really not that far-fetched, and science is growing exponentially. So you really have to bear that in mind.
It is, but the question is, if I don't know, I personally can't conceive of a notion that if we right now can't even see what life looks like, if it looks like on these like billions of other planets, and how can we as one planet be the determinant of like whether they'll exist or not?
Well, it's better safe than sorry, isn't it? What if they're suffering?
No, but like it's not even in our power to do anything about it.
Well, that's why we should change that.
And then we need lots of technology.
Oh wow, I didn't realize that.
Okay. Well, good luck. Actually, bad luck.
I mean, we've got all the time in the world, right? 1,000 years from now, technology will be, just completely incomprehensible compared to what we have today.
But who's to say we'll go towards that?
I am. Me.
What's the movement like? Do you have a certain threshold of popular support that you're aiming to reach that will make your aims actionable, at least on our planet?
No, I mean, there's no exact number. We just have to do everything that we can, and you can't predict what the world is going to look like next year, right? Just 3 years ago, we didn't even have AI, right? So the world is changing drastically, and we just have to do everything we can and do the best that we can, and just do what we can. Keep going.
Okay, interesting. Talk
Fight
to you
for what's right. Thank you for coming on, Opal. It's been a pleasure. Thank you for coming. Okay, who else we got? Pearl wants to join us. Pearl, bringing you up. Hello, how you doing?
Hello, James.
Hello.
It's me, Pearl.
Yeah, how are you?
I'm your biggest fan.
Yeah? Well, welcome to the show. The Extinction Zone.
Thank you. Yeah, I just want to say this. Okay.
Yeah, thank you for coming on, Pearl. Thank you for your support
Bye-bye.
and your activism as well. Pearl isn't just a fan; they have started doing activism, and you should too, right? There's no excuse for just sitting at home and doing nothing, cracking on with your own life when we live in a world full of suffering. You can do something about it. You should. We should all fight for a suffering-free world. So, evolve out of selfishness, become more, become better, become a part of the change in this world for better, right? Become part of the solution, become part of the future with us. Start doing activism with the pro-extinction movement. Even if you just, make one video a day, a text video on TikTok, that takes 60 seconds. That's massive for the movement. That will help grow it, help get people to join us. Hello, how you doing?
Hello. What did you? Good evening. First of all,
Yeah. Yes. Do you have any
I just want to
questions?
say, that I really like your videos, and it makes much sense for me. But why would you encourage making everyone disappear, rather than encourage people to do good in the world and try to be good and do good to other people? That's way we can limit suffering in a way,
Yeah.
rather than
The thing is, over 99% of suffering happens in nature. So, we have to, deal with the majority of the suffering instead of just trying to improve a small, tiny minority of it.
yeah, but in a way, I think that ending life is imaginary in a way. It's like literally impossible if you think about it.
Why?
Uh, because first of all, you cannot motivate everyone to do that, especially
But that's never been the way the
governments.
world has worked. The world has never worked with everyone being motivated to do anything. When they were fighting against slavery in America, most of the population wanted slavery because of all of the money they were making. So it was very difficult to abolish slavery, but they still did it anyway, and they knew that they were against the majority, and they still fought. And actually, because they cared more than all of the selfish people, they had the power, the empathy to actually be successful.
Yeah, but in a way, this is a different situation
But also,
because
if you think it's difficult, that doesn't mean you shouldn't fight for what you believe in and speak out for what you believe in, right? Otherwise, it's hypocrisy, it's cowardice.
yes, I believe that the world is for suffering and it's a bad place for sure. But also, this solution, I'm talking about me, about me, it seems like impossible in
Why?
the first place.
Why?
As I said, it's literally you cannot motivate everyone to
Yeah, that's
just
never
disappear.
that's never been necessary for anything ever. So why would we need that?
I mean, let's think about it. Did we discover the whole universe, for example?
No.
So how can you make sure that the whole universe is empty of life?
Well, like I said, we can trust in future science and we can explore the limits of what is possible.
So, as you said that in the past, things like AI never happened, and people it was difficult for them, but now it's not difficult, right?
Yep. So
In
things
the
get easier
same,
over time.
yeah, but in the same sense, you can think that maybe in a way, in a year, people would motivate themselves to disappear, but things will change, like in the future, and they will not. For example,
Well, yeah, like I said, you're never going to get 100% of the people agreeing. That's why you have to force it on them, to euthanize them.
how are you gonna force it though? That's
Well, do you know how they got rid of slavery in America?
no, I really don't. I'm not
They
American,
went
so.
to war, right? They fought a war to end slavery.
Yeah, but
Like, you need to read some history. You need to learn how the world works, right? You have forces, growing and trying to do things, trying to achieve their objectives, and you have smart people making it happen, right?
So it was Abraham Lincoln, right? In the, if I think, who ends slavery.
Yeah.
But he was a president, and he had forces with him.
But they fought a war, right?
Yeah, but he was also a president, and he has like aliens.
Yeah, but you know, what's to say we can't do the same?
Because the presidents also won't allow you to do so. I mean,
okay, well,
the
they allowed him
governments.
to do it, didn't they?
Yeah, but he was also a president. What I'm trying to say is he was a
He got there in
powerful.
the first place, so you know, that's someone else can do it.
Okay, I
And how
really.
many countries, or you know, how many times has there been a revolution where they didn't need to be president in the first place?
Yes, but again, the
Winchester,
situation.
thank you for coming on. I appreciate your time, but you know, you really need to read some history. You know, there's never been anything in the world that required 100% agreement from everyone. It's just not the way the world has ever worked. Okay, hello, how you doing? Hello. Okay, moving on. Let's see who's next. Bringing up Anna. Hello.
Hello. Hi.
Hi, how's it going?
Good. How's it going for you?
Good. Do you have any questions for us?
Not really. I just I think what you're doing is oh.
Yeah, sorry, go for it.
Well, I don't have any questions. I just saw your live and I saw your videos and I think what you're doing is cool or whatever.
Thank you.
Yeah. You're welcome. Okay. Thank you for letting me in.
No worries, Anna. Thank you for supporting the channel and the movement. Yes, not just me. All right, let's move on. Let's get somebody else on. Hello, how you doing?
Hello. I'm doing great. How about you?
Good, thank you.
I have a question. What
Yeah.
about all the people that do live great lives and they are not suffering? Would you just take their rights away and their choice and euthanize them against their will?
Yeah, because you know the thing is that people can't make responsible decisions for themselves or even for others, right? Which is why they're forcing kids to exist. They're allowing suffering, not speaking out against it, and they're also putting themselves in danger without realizing it. So yeah, safety comes first.
Don't you think your philosophy is subjective and does not apply to everyone that's alive currently in this world? Not everybody would agree with you, so euthanizing them would actually just go against people's rights.
What do you mean go against their rights though? Why would rights be the most important
Because
thing?
it would be against their choice. They wouldn't want to end
So
their
why would
life
that be the most important thing?
because that's morality.
Okay, so let me ask you this. If a baby is crawling towards the edge of a cliff, would you say that's their choice and we shouldn't stop them?
No, because a baby is not conscient, doesn't have consciousness to make decisions.
Oh, so you
like
can
an adult
abuse babies and they don't
does.
feel it? They don't have consciousness?
That has nothing to do with it. I'm
You said they're
saying
not
the
conscious.
baby cannot make decisions because it doesn't have any
Okay,
intellectual
what about
capacity.
a person is going to walk off the cliff, right? Would you just say, yeah, do whatever you want?
Well, I would go talk to them first, and then
Okay,
they
so you
would have
take
to make
action,
their
right? You
decision.
take action, and
I
most
would take
people,
action, but I would
most
not
people
force them to
would
end their
use
life.
force. Most people use force, right? So the thing is, you can't trust everyone to make correct decisions.
I
So
think a
yeah,
person that would want to avoid suffering, I would allow them to kill themselves because people do that anyway. But not without trying to help them first, but it's their choice in the end still,
the thing
whether
is,
they
what
want
I'm
to end
trying to
their life or
explain
not.
is that it is irrational to want to exist when you're in extreme danger, right? So that's not a rational thing. People can't make that rational decision. So that's why they support life existing no matter what, no matter who gets hurt, if they get hurt.
Can you repeat
So
that? What's not rational?
yeah, so it's not rational to want to put yourself in extreme danger.
Who said that?
Me.
It's not rational to put yourself in danger? I mean,
Yeah, especially when there's, the danger outweighs the risks as well.
No, because some people do want to put themselves in danger, and that
Yeah,
could
but
be like
that's not a good thing, though.
intellectual decision.
That's,
That's your subjective opinion, whether it's good or not. It could be good in their head. There is no objective
yeah,
good or bad.
but the thing is, we have done the science on it, and we have determined that people are incapable of making rational decisions for their own safety and the safety of others. So we do have to make the decision for them.
No, that's wrong.
Well, that's just your opinion, bro.
And it's your opinion, and it's also your opinion that would affect people's lives and end their lives,
Okay,
actually.
and what are you
And an
doing to end
opinion-
all suffering?
I
Nothing.
cannot end all
Nothing,
suffering.
right?
And
You
I
don't want. You don't even care about
to.
ending all suffering. So don't pretend that you disagree with
The
one
suffering
small
is
thing
not
when
necessarily
actually you
bad.
disagree with
It's
it
a part
all.
of nature. I
Yeah,
don't
exactly. So
disagree with
you think
suffering.
suffering's a good thing. So don't come on here and try and preach when you're actually, lying basically and you're supporting
I'm not
suffering and
lying.
abuse.
I think suffering should exist because without
Yeah,
suffering,
exactly.
there's no
Because
happiness.
you're a disgusting person, basically. You think child abuse is a good thing? It's not, and it's not acceptable either. Why should a child be born into an abusive parent's dungeon who's going to murder them ever? They just shouldn't. Hello, how you doing?
I'm good. I'm not very good at English, but I wanna still do debate with you.
Okay.
I have two main questions.
Okay.
If you think that in the future we could expand ourselves to the universe and end suffering, wouldn't it be possible to, instead of eradicating life, wouldn't it be possible? What if it's possible to end suffering instead of life?
Well, you'd need to be God to do that, so you'd need magic.
But if you can end all suffering or all life,
No, you can do extinction. You don't need magic for extinction. We've made lots of species of animals go extinct already. We have euthanasia. We control animal populations in the.
But I'm talking about extraterrestrial life instead of just animals on Earth, including humans. I'm talking about all the universe, all the life in the universe.
Yeah.
If you could end all life in the universe, you require certain level of technology.
Yeah.
High level.
Yeah, but a lower level than that which would be required to end suffering without extinction.
If you could create a scenario where suffering doesn't exist, but life can exist, would you still be supporting total extinction?
Look, if we could push a button and make all suffering disappear and everyone teleports into heaven and no one's ever going to suffer ever again, then yeah, we'd do it.
Okay.
But that's magic, right? So it doesn't make sense to try and create magic when we already have existing solutions, and there's no rational reason to believe that we can create magic.
Okay, and my second question would be, your view is from an utilitarian view, isn't it?
No, it's from an extinctionist empath view.
Okay, yeah, that's it. That's one of my questions.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you for coming on. Appreciate your time. Moving on. Who else we got? Well, we've got loads of people in the queue today, so let's just try and get through them. There may be some ghosts in the queue. Moving on. Who we got? Beard Viking, that sounds interesting. And here we go. Hello, how you doing?
Right, how's it going?
Good.
Listen, if you want extinction, here's my advice to you. Fucking prepare for war, because war's gonna be the only way to be extinct, mate.
Well, yeah, you might be right.
And also, just so you know, I've been abused when I was a kid, and trust me, it was the best therapy I ever got.
Well, that's really good for you. But, a lot of them don't survive, right? You have a lot of people come on here and say, I was abused and I survived and I'm really happy about it. And it's like, okay, you're a minority, right? Why would you want everyone to be child abused? Just because it was good for you doesn't mean it's good for everyone. It's just insane, right? People come on here supporting child abuse. It's welcome to the clown world, basically. Hello, how you doing?
How are you? I support this idea, and I think it's actually good. And there is actually many traits you can do, to make it better, like total extinction for nature or an animals like that. But I have some questions that are stuck in my mind, and I want you to answer.
Okay.
One of is like death. After death, there is theoretically three things that could happen: either infinite nothingness, or infinite bliss, or infinite suffering. So in both three cases, if like there is infinite suffering, so there is no point in ending suffering in the first place because it's infinite.
Yeah, but there's no reason to think that there is an afterlife or any suffering after it.
No, I'm saying that there's probably like one of these three cases.
Yeah, and if we follow the scientific method, then we have to assume for the time being that there is no afterlife because we haven't seen any evidence of one.
Yeah, sure. But if there is infinite nothingness, isn't that your belief? Like non-existent?
Yeah. Yes.
So if that is true, it's for infinity. So doesn't that make, so I'm just talking logically, so I'm not talking about suffering.
I know what you're going to say. You're going to say, why does the suffering matter, right?
Right, yeah.
But, that's the kind of thing a child abuser would say, right? Don't worry, it'll be over eventually.
But isn't it like, it's like infinity plus one or infinity plus one?
Yeah, again, it's the same thing a child abuser would say. Don't worry, it'll be over eventually. That doesn't make it okay.
I'm still supporting the idea of ending suffering. I'm just asking, isn't that logical anyway?
No.
Why?
Because that doesn't just magically make suffering not matter, and child abuse, animal abuse, just suddenly it's okay. Because by that logic, you could just go out and start, stabbing animals in the face, right? Oh, it's all going to end eventually, so why not? It just doesn't make any sense. We should care about life, the existing life, which can feel, which is in danger, which can suffer, and not look for excuses to ignore its suffering.
True. So in the total extinction, like plan or whatever, so is the extinction is gonna be like painless or something like that?
Probably, yeah. But even if it's not painless, it's still better than life. It's still going to be less painful than life itself.
Yeah, true. So isn't like another choice or something like that is looking for anti-aging or immortality, so we can like...
No, that's not an ethical thing, right? If you're trying to end suffering, then extinction is the only rational, practical, and ethical way to do it. People have said, right, James, why don't you try and solve suffering without extinction? I've said to them, like, you would basically need to create heaven and click your fingers and everyone just finds themselves in heaven, right? So, what do you want me to do? Start a movement called proheaven.com, and what are people going to start saying about me? This guy wants to create magic, right? What a really realistic movement. Like, how's that going to work?
I want to ask another question. Are you vegan?
No.
What are you? Like, do you eat meat?
Yeah.
And how is that, like, doesn't gonna be a better like option to be vegan too?
Yeah, so we've looked into it, and going vegan causes more suffering. So at the minute, it actually causes less suffering to eat meat, because vegans are transferring suffering to wild animals who suffer even worse. So yeah, we need to work towards a world where that isn't the case, and that we can get rid of farmed animals and all animals, and then be able to survive without them. But right now, in the current situation, it does cause more suffering to be a vegan, but we need to solve that problem, which is what we want to do.
Yeah, my last question is, an example, if we end all life on this planet, and we tried after that to end as much as possible in the known universe, or whatever, and we like discover that existence itself is infinite, what is gonna be your reaction? It's just a question.
Well, we just keep trying to do everything we can, basically.
So that was my question. Thanks.
Great. Thank you for coming on. Yeah, the whole point is just do as much as you can. It's not, oh, we're relying on galaxy extinction. No, just do everything, right? Earth, and then you just try and keep going if you can. But you start with Earth, for sure. Hello, how you doing?
I'm wonderful. How about you?
Yeah, good, thank you.
So I'm trying to put together your logic to this epiphany that you've had, and with this other group of people that have also had similar epiphanies. So your logic to this is that if you apply a mass amount of suffering, that you'll be able to end it.
No, extinction doesn't cause suffering. Euthanasia doesn't cause suffering. It prevents suffering.
Right. So there's already things that are alive that you're going to be taking life from.
Yeah, but
And
in the
those
same
things
way
that-
that, like ill people, old people, and pets, they get euthanized while they're still alive, right? And
Right,
what does
but
it do?
but
It doesn't cause them suffering. It prevents their suffering.
But unless you were you were capable of being able to do it at an all at once circumstance,
Yeah.
then you're going to create others to suffer that they're losing those people, that they're losing.
So let me
the
get this
opportunity
straight.
in
So let me
life.
get this straight. You think suffering is a problem?
Well, no, you do. I'm trying to figure out
So
your
no,
logic.
you don't think suffering's a problem.
I think that you creating more suffering would be a bigger problem.
Right,
than
so but you're being a
suffering that's already
hypocrite. You're
happened.
saying you don't think suffering's a problem, but now you're saying that creating more suffering is a problem.
You're applying suffering to get rid of suffering.
You're not-
That does it. That's hypocritical.
Well, again, euthanasia doesn't really cause suffering,
You're causing people to lose lives.
but that doesn't cause suffering.
If I killed your child, then you're going to suffer.
Right, but the child would be safe in non-existence.
Right, but then you're creating suffering by taking that child from the parent.
Wait, so let me get this straight. Is that unacceptable
fix-
suffering, or is
you
it
can't-
acceptable suffering?
You can't fix nature. That's
So is
that's
that
part of
acceptable
the-
suffering or unacceptable suffering?
What is acceptable about
Can you answer that
suffering?
question?
There's nothing acceptable about suffering, but creating it
Okay,
isn't going to
so
make it better.
so you would have it continue for billions of years, though. How does
It's
that make
not my
sense?
place. It's not my place to
But
do
so
that.
you would.
God
So
created it.
suffering's unacceptable, but you would have it continue for billions of years instead of ending it.
The only
Do you
other
see how
logic-
you're not really making sense here?
The only logic that I've heard so far that comes to the meaning of what you're trying to create is Lucifer
You're
himself.
not answering my questions. You're dodging them
How am I dodging it, sir?
because you didn't answer my question.
Okay, then do this for me since I'm so simple. Why don't you just ask me a
Well,
question?
no,
and
I'm
I'll
asking you
answer
to be honest, to actually answer questions instead of trying to dodge them and gaslight, basically.
it. Okay, I apologize. So ask me a question, please.
Right. You said that that suffering was unacceptable, and then in the next breath you said that it should continue for billions of years unimpeded. So how does that make sense?
Okay, well, how it makes sense is that it's not my place to make the decision for others.
But
on
you are
what-
making
what-
that decision. You're saying it should continue instead of it shouldn't continue. So you've made that decision.
I'm not going to be able to apply suffering to somebody to get rid of suffering. That doesn't make any sense.
Why? Have you
do you
ever
mean,
had
why?
an
Why
injection
would-
from a doctor? Did it hurt? And
So if I got
did it
punched
prevent
in the
suffering?
face, I should punch myself in order to fix it?
So, but answer my question, right? When a doctor injects you and it hurts, right? That little bit of suffering prevents more suffering, right?
Why would he inject me?
Okay, Skipper, that's it. You are cooked and served. All right, moving on. Why would a doctor ever inject anyone? What an absurd idea. Okay, buddy, whatever you say. All right, moving on. Freeborn coming up now. Freeborn. Hello.
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 How you doing? I'm from Nigeria.
Great. Do you agree with abolishing suffering?
Um, no, 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 no.
Sorry, it sounds like you're at a party or something. Maybe try again later. All right, moving on. Hello.
Hey, hi.
How's it going?
I actually agree with the movement, and I don't know. I think people doesn't understand that it's not something that's gonna happen. Like we're gonna wake up tomorrow and everyone's going to extend. It's like a slow movement. It's like changing like the way you think and your perspective. You know, it starts like this, and for people saying like, "Oh, but you are choosing for other people," yeah. So does religion. So does politics and everything. So I don't know
So does
why people
birth.
go. Yeah, exactly. I don't know why people go so crazy with this, but it's like a slow movement to change the way people think. So
Yeah.
yeah, but that's it. Thank you.
Thank you for coming on, Julia. Of course, it's not just about the way people think. That is a big part of it. But if we have to carry out a revolution, a coup, we'll do it. That's what they did to end slavery, right? Hello, how you doing?
Hello, I'm good. So I have a question. Why do you think being vegan causes more suffering than not being vegan?
Yeah, because basically veganism gives more land to wild animals, and they suffer terribly as a result. It gives them massive amounts of land.
And how is that suffering if they have more place and more land?
Yeah, because they have even worse conditions than farmed animals. So they have worse suffering, worse conditions. The majority get eaten alive as children. The rest are starving with no medicine, no euthanasia, which wild animals get, no food, no safety, no shelter, no nothing.
Did you inform yourself or did you watch videos? Because if you see at places where many animals are, they get slapped, beaten, and at worse conditions.
And that worse things happen in nature. Yeah, it's worse in nature.
They live in. Do
Yeah,
you think that's
it's
nature?
worse in nature, though. It's worse in
That's nature. Okay,
Yeah,
go search up Dominion and watch this, and then.
Well, you know what? That's human nature.
Okay, but you say you want less suffering, but that's more suffering for the animals.
Just.
And okay,
Well, that's just human nature.
That's not human nature. That's just cruelty.
Oh no, that's just nature. No, that's
okay,
just
so people are also.
No, that's just nature.
Let me speak. In fishing,
you're finished. You're done. All right, saying that's just nature as a way to justify and defend suffering is what disgustingly evil people do. All right. If you walk past someone suffering and they're like, "Please help me," would you go, "That's just life," right? That would be a disgustingly terrible person, like the last guy that was just on. Okay, and that's why vegans are bad people, okay? They want to feel less guilty while still being guilty as charged, right? Of benefiting from suffering, glorifying suffering, defending suffering, causing suffering, and directly abusing animals and benefiting from their suffering, right? We've got Parveen coming up next. Hello, how you doing?
Hi James, how are you?
Good, thank you.
Yeah, I always watch your video. Like I'm from India. Like we have a lot of population, 1.4 billion or close to 1.5 billion, right? Like we can't kill them all. Like you know what I mean. But what is the way by the religion and all these things, and just tell people like you can't kill people who they're born, right?
Why not?
No, it's not a nice thing. But can you just tell them, right? Listen, you're born, right?
People do it every day.
No, I know, but listen, we have to tell them, listen, do not have any baby. You want to have a sex, fair enough, get married or live together, whatever the reason is. Whatever.
No. Look, suffering will just continue forever, for billions of years, unless we just wipe it out.
I know, but it's not a nice thing. Like if you're killing a dog or a cat.
But you're thinking about the lucky ones, not the unlucky ones, right? So you need to prioritize the unlucky ones, not the lucky ones.
Yeah, but these people exist already.
Right, but they're a tiny minority compared to the majority of stakeholders which are in the future.
Yeah. So like it's great ideas. I like your videos and perfect.
Yeah,
Like
well, look, people want suffering to continue forever, and they make all sorts of excuses. And we're saying no, we're not going to accept any excuses. We are going to put a stop to it, no matter what nonsense you come out with.
I think we have to come out with something that stop the religion, that religious bullshit people have.
It's never going to stop, right? Religious people have a brain defect, and so does all of humanity, with very few exceptions, right? So religion is irrationality. Humans are irrational. Religion is just one flavor of irrationality. The main flavor is thinking that suffering should continue for the rest of time.
No, but I
Yeah,
always...
it is. I'm sorry, Parveen, but it is, right? If you think suffering should continue forever, then that's the most irrational thing possible, right? The most illogical, the most incorrect thing imaginable, that just unlimited suffering should just continue forever, right? Why? Why should those children have to get tortured? Why, right? They shouldn't. We should abolish suffering like we abolish slavery and other forms of oppression. But people just want it to keep going forever. Hello, how you doing?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes, so I want to go back to one of your points earlier. One guy said, why do you think you would have to end life to end suffering? And you said that you would have to create some sort of heaven to be able to end it without extinction.
Yeah.
And I want to ask, you say that in the future you want to rely on the future technologies to be able to end it. What makes you think that ending suffering without extinction is much more realistic than being able to kill every living form in the universe? Like, you're saying you need magic for heaven.
Well, you don't need magic for Earth, though, do you?
You don't, yes, but like one guy also said that life came out of non-life, and we know in physics matter cannot be created or destroyed. So what if you end up destroying everything and everyone, and then out of that destruction just comes out more life?
Well,
why don't you think it would be better to keep trying to find that what you call quote-unquote magic?
Well, why don't you start a movement called promagic.com, right? Put your money where your mouth is. If you're not speaking complete nonsense and being dishonest and, you're just
okay, wait.
being a silly
I want to say
person,
something
right?
else.
Go and no.
I want to say something
else. If you actually believe what you're saying, go and make promagic.com.
No, okay, wait. Let me say something else. Love is not like an emotional
And
suffering.
I'd love
right?
to
It's a
see the
good
type
emotion.
of people that join your pro magic movement, right? I'd love to see the type of people that join
I'm
that
not
movement.
saying. No, I'm not. Let me just say something else.
No.
Okay.
Go to promagic.com. Go and do it, right? You come up here. I was literally said this like an hour ago, right? People come up here and they say, no, James, don't solve suffering with extinction. Solve it with magic. Where's the magic, bro? What? You go and start a movement to create magic, right? And see how many children's show magicians turn up, all right? It's not a serious... Who's going to take that seriously? It's not a serious option or plan. Promagic.com. Okay. All right, let's see who else we got. Hello, how you doing?
Hey, I'm great. How are you?
Good.
Not suffering?
Why'd you ask?
Curious. It seems important. It seems relevant.
Bit of a personal question.
Absolutely. Is that not what we're doing here?
No, not really. All right, moving on. We're not here for a chit chat over a cup of tea, mate. We've got animals suffering that we need to help. Hello, how you doing?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
So you always use the argument of you say that we should look into the technology of the future instead of limiting our view to right now.
Yeah.
Why can't you use that to look at the ways we could restrict suffering in the future?
We support that. Yeah.
But you still would support extinction over that, even if that was a possibility.
Well, the victims need it, right? We should go with the more realistic option, the only realistic option. Again, if you really think magic is real and that we should create
I
it
didn't
to end
say that.
suffering, go and make promagic.com. You and that other guy can start the movement together. So unless you're just being hypocritical, you're not actually believing what you're saying, then yeah, that's it. I think you're cooked, you're served, you're ready.
I don't think this.
Okay. I look forward to following the progress of promagic.com. It should be an exciting movement full of really rational people, geniuses, right? Absolute geniuses. But you know what? They're not going to make promagic.com, because when they come on here and say that, they're not serious, right? It's not a real argument. They're basically being dishonest. They're just trying to, I don't know, clown around, I guess, really, right? Hello, how you doing?
Yo, I just want to say I support the movement, basically, but I don't think it's realistic.
So you support something unrealistic? That seems very irrational.
Yeah. Well, it's basically like a form of idealism. I know that it's probably not going to
So
happen,
that would
but
be
I
bad
support
for
it.
you to agree with then.
No, it's basically like I support pro-extinction, right? But the way you're going about it is wrong.
And how should we do it?
I think asking people to join a movement isn't going to help reduce the suffering. The best way to reduce suffering is by force. Because
Yeah, I'll just do extinction by myself then, shall I?
Because life is basically like slavery, right?
Yeah, thanks for coming on. Amazing conversation there. All right, moving on. Eleanor joining us now. Hello.
Hello.
What's good?
How are you?
Good.
So I have a few things to say. Like, I watched some of your videos and I found it really interesting and I want to see your point of view. That's why I keep watching it and I'm on your live. So I like it. However, I think I disagree with many of it. And since you're asking for a debate, I can give you a debate.
Okay.
So one thing is life is suffering is not the only morally relevant thing in life. There's also joy,
Most important
happiness.
thing, man.
Is it the most important thing? Because I think
Yeah.
pleasure, rest, sleep, play, fulfillment, those are also
But
equally
that's
or
the
even
same.
more.
The thing is, if you think that extreme suffering is acceptable, then you're no different than a child abuser.
But if we have life suffering and children suffering, why would the answer be to end all lives of children or end all life? Why not we?
Well, let's
I know
just
you-
give child abusers more kids then, right? Why not?
But why don't we? I know you brought this up earlier, but isn't it more realistic to instead of building a
Create
future to
promagic.com. Promagic.com.
Yeah.
Look,
It's not
there's
more.
a growing
It's not,
movement of people. Clearly,
but it's not
yourself
magic though, because
included.
we're developing technology for that every day.
Are you?
No, not me. But
Right.
you
So
know,
you're not. So you're lying, right? You're not doing anything.
Well, I
So
mean,
you're being
doesn't slowly
lazy, you're being
contribute to
selfish, and you're
society.
suggesting instead of using real solutions, we use magic. Do you not realize how ridiculous you sound?
But it's pretty magical to end all suffering. I mean, we can euthanize everyone in the world, but how about all bacterial life, all algae, all
So if we can
animals? It
help
will take
like
a lot
5 out of 10
magic.
people, we shouldn't do it then.
What?
If we can help 5 out of 10 people, we shouldn't do it. It has to be
So you're
everyone.
okay with killing half of the life?
We should end and prevent as much suffering as possible. Not
So
find
even if you're
excuses
not-
not to.
So even if it's not 100%, you're still going for it.
Of course. We
So
should
even
do
if
as much as we can to
even if
help.
we-
Instead
if
of
we
finding
actively-
excuses to be selfish and lazy.
even if we accidentally leave like some singular celled organisms that will eventually evolve into intelligent life with suffering,
Yes.
it's still worth it.
We should try and prevent that. But even if it does somehow happen, yeah. If you look, helping 5 out of 10 people is better than helping 0 out of 10, which is what you're doing right now.
But you're also taking away the opportunity to joy and stuff.
No. we're taking that away from the child abusers, and I'm sorry for you to have to tell you that bad news, right? But yeah, we will put an end to the abuse.
But why don't
Eleanor,
we
thank
just
you so much
okay?
for that riveting conversation. I think you're going to be an all-time fan favorite after that. It was just so amazing. Such an amazing conversation. Thank you so much. Okay, moving on. Let's see who else we got. Hello, how's it going?
Hi. Listen, I see that everybody is complaining about the same thing. You don't let them express themselves. I understand you as a psychotherapist. I understand you, and I agree with you. But I wanted to make you a suggestion.
Okay.
I don't know from what country are you?
UK.
UK, okay. So for my master thesis, I'm from Romania, and we do not learn here how to debate. I know Americans learn to debate in school. I don't know if you are teach in UK, but I read a book. I read. Just listen to me. I'm not here to attack anybody. I read a book. It's Jakob Needleman. Why can't we be good? And there is a chapter, it is called White Dove. How, I don't know, maybe at Oxford or Harvard, I don't know, they play a debate, how a debate should be. And the subject was about abortion, some type of abortion. And the game was like this. No person was allowed to answer until expressed what the other person said.
Okay.
Because many people do not understand. They respond to what's in their head. And I understand you. People that are very smart and understand the subject do not have that patience. But if you read that book, at least that passage, they say that after that debate going with this rule, I don't answer unless I repeat what I understand that you said.
Yeah,
So
I
this
just
goes
I think
also for you.
most people that come on here, they're just not smart enough to do that, though.
I saw that. I was thinking, because they say that at the end, people change their mind about the abortion because they saw a miracle happening. It's about it's about faith. When a person is stepping back from his mind and teachings, you let God to come and bring the third solution or something like mediation. And during this game, those people that were against the abortion, they started to distance themselves, from their teachings. They were allowing another teaching to come in.
Yeah.
My English maybe is not very good, but I hope you understand, into their mind. This, if you can do this to help them distance themselves from their teachings.
The thing is,
You
okay,
understand?
I have an answer for this. Okay, I have an interesting answer for you. Okay, which is, look, this is actually a really important topic that happens a lot, right? So people are always asking us, right? Why can't we just convince people to understand extinction? And the thing is that they are biologically and evolutionarily prevented from understanding it, right? So you can't just, unfortunately, you can't do what you're suggesting and make it easier for them to understand. They either can understand it or they can't, basically. So we're only looking for a small group of people in the world to join the movement, because we know that the rest will not be able to join. They won't be able to understand it. They don't have the brain biology to understand it.
And that's an argument for pro-extinction also. If they can't debate, they can't understand and the argument you were bringing, that is an argument for the extinction, because they will their
There'll always
mind
be
is wrong
yeah.
wired, and they will do damages forward.
Yeah, exactly. So we have, the world is run by criminals and billionaires, right? We have to change the world.
Stupid people.
Yeah, exact.
You said about the magic, to bringing the magic, but I don't know if you read the Chipola book about the I don't know in English how is the 5 laws of the stupidity, and did you read it? Have you read it?
No, but I think I know what you're going to say, right? That they appeal to magic,
That
right?
not magic. No, God will save us from stupid people. And
Yeah.
for this, I agree with your movement. Even if I graduated psychology and theology, and in theology they are for life, and I said they are not for abortion, and I said this is so stupid, because you should be for discernment, not for life, because you can't bring anyone to this world. You have to have a mind who is doing babies and who is not. And if you are not agree to do a baby planning, then it will be a total mess in the world.
Yeah, yeah.
I
People
think
can't
that
make
is
people
the
can't
fault
make
of
responsible
Christianity also.
people can't make responsible decisions on suffering because they evolved to not be able to do it, right? The humans
But
that
I
could
say
make good decisions, they went extinct. The humans that couldn't make good decisions, they were more likely to have children and populate the whole of humanity.
it's also the religion fault. This is what I'm saying. They are not
Well, you
teaching
see,
about
it's the other way around.
discernment.
Actually, religion isn't the problem. Religion is the symptom.
I didn't thought that deep. I was
Yeah, no,
thinking
it's true. Religion is a symptom of irrationality, basically. So yeah, I've done lots of videos on this stuff and psychology. So yeah, check out my videos on it.
okay.
Yeah, I made a video called "Humanity is an Unintelligent Species," and it's not a meme video. It actually goes into a lot of the science. So check that one out. Merci frumoasa. I love Romania. I've been twice. I speak a little bit. So thank you for coming on. And yeah, join the movement, join the Discord and the WhatsApp through the link on my profile, through the website. Start doing activism with us, right? And yeah, get involved in the psychology and everything else. Hello, how's it going?
Hey James, how are you? I've spoken a few times on different accounts. But yeah, how are you?
Good.
You all right? Yeah, that's good. I was just wondering so let's say we can, so I think the ultimate goal, right, is to sorry, I'm a little bit faded, but we have to destroy all life, right? Because it's not worth it if we can't do like as much as possible, because I think like even if a little bit comes about after we have done what we have done, it will be exponential and it will become like 10x as worse as what we have now, and there will be like 10x as much or 100,000x as much as we have now.
Why?
And it'll be just as worse. Like, oh, sorry, let me reframe it.
The most important part of the mission is to prevent life from coming back. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I agree. So, okay, let's just say I heard you say before that we should just do a little bit if we can. But
what do you mean?
Yeah, you said a little bit if we can is better than nothing, right?
Yeah.
But I think even if we do that little bit, I think eventually, because what is it? I've read some documentaries and I've looked at the data, and I think the universe is going to last a very, very long time. And I think that the chances of life occurring, Fermi paradox, etc., like it is possible that like it may be 10x more life or like even 100x more life than that, or 1,000x. Who fucking knows, man?
We've done the
There
science
is
on
now.
it. We've looked into it. We've
Yeah.
done the science, and according to our
Okay.
science, the universe is
Yep.
most likely going to be full of life, and it'll be very similar to what you see on Earth. It's going to be animals suffering for billions of years.
Okay, let's say we destroy all life, right? Imagine if we destroy all life, right? Do you think it would be better to have an intelligence that is unconscious and like some sort of like machine or something that was able to make, so let's say we make the universe like, and it's all at zero. It's at like level playing ground, and
Yeah, we
life
should
can.
have a universe that's completely sterile, and maybe there will be some robots that are overseeing it, making sure it stays that way.
Okay, yeah, I agree. Yeah, imagine if there were life that would become like, I feel like it could possibly become like, there could be 100x more life in the future than there is now.
Well,
Do you
over the
think-
next billions of years on Earth, there's going to be loads of life, right?
Yeah, I definitely agree. Do you think that maybe we should stick around? And I think if we become or come to that certain point, it would definitely be possible for something that as is like inferior as us to have like positive lives and like multifaceted lives as like that would keep us happy, like the Matrix or something.
Yeah. Look, we support that. So even if humanity goes extinct, right, we're probably still going to have AI and robots doing the rest of the universe, okay, and preventing life from developing. Now, there's no reason to say that those robots and AI won't be able to say, oh, look, during my science today, I found out that we can create heaven, and life can be happy with no danger, right?
Yeah.
That can still happen within our plans. Okay, that's what our movement supports. Is that
That's
keeping
good.
that door open, basically.
Do you think that like what you're pushing for and what you say in your videos is maybe like the base interpretation of your movement, and maybe like you aren't kind of mentioning that kind of thing because people aren't really thinking about that sort of thing? Is that what, like, I don't know. It's hard to explain, but do you think that you aren't really mentioning that possibility because you think people might have a kind of black and white view of the certain possibilities we could have with this kind of like movement?
Can
Like, I should be a bit more, a bit opaque. But what I'm saying is, like, you're saying we should just kill all life, right? But that is the base movement, and it will be the movement that will get the most people right now, right? Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, actually,
Okay.
I mean, we're kind of the most controversial movement possible, so that kind of makes it hard, actually.
Yeah, 100%. But okay, you want escape velocity, right? You want as much people as you can right now, and you can kind of like change your position a little bit as
No.
gain power, et cetera.
We are not going to be apologetic. We're going to be the opposite. We're going to be as unapologetic as possible.
Okay. All right. I understand what you're saying. But like with power and stuff, you want, okay, you are pure, right? You want the best possible outcome. You don't have any ulterior motives, right? Obviously. Yep. So what I'm saying is like you want the most consumable, most interpretable thesis that people can accept for like the majority of the population, and that you can kind of slowly like I don't know, maybe there'll be slight tweaks you can add to it that like you think are good, and not just you, but like just actually just and right and actually good. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
But,
I do actually. I actually do know what you're saying. Yeah, we should make the
Okay.
movement even bigger and more all inclusive, right?
Yeah, people need to kind of be I guess cushioned into what you're saying, I guess. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I've thought about it as well. But the thing is,
100%.
the problem with that is as I was explaining to the previous guest, and the thing is, right, everyone that starts learning about extinction, pretty much everyone, including me, right, one of the things you have to start learning about when you first learn about extinction is that it really is, right, there's this many people that will understand extinction and agree with it and support it, and then there's everyone else, right? And you cannot make them join that team, okay? It's genetic. So you would imagine, you would assume that people can just, use logic and you can explain things to them like suffering is bad and they'd be able to understand it. But no, basically they're genetically incapable of understanding that logic. So essentially that means that logic, comprehension, rationality takes a back seat, right? It's not the dominant force in the brain for these people. And for those who it is, it's a small genetic minority. And those are the only ones that, according to our experience and science, will ever support extinction.
Okay, I don't want to waste your time, but okay, I think there's a lot of different ways you could go about this. So, would you support, or I don't know, there's actually us as humans and apes right now. We probably couldn't think of the best solution to prevent suffering. Okay, we probably could end all life on Earth, right? Right now. We probably could if we wanted to, right?
I mean, no. The thing is, it's going to be a difficult scientific endeavor. Okay, there's life at the bottom of the ocean. There's life everywhere, right? The last asteroid had the power of 1 billion nuclear bombs, and it still didn't cause total extinction. So no, we can't do it right now. Even if we launched every single nuke, it still wouldn't do it. So no, we need to develop better science and to do it in an organized and structured way.
Yeah, and that's kind of my point. It's really hard to comprehend all the different, like, I don't know, data points, I guess. I don't know, like, say we probably could destroy all, like, human life and most of animal life on Earth right now if we put a concerted... Yeah. But, like, let's just say, like, in the future, like, maybe... It could only be like 100,000 years from now. Like there would be 10x or 100x the life in the universe that and they could experience suffering, right? And that would be like
we should try and help the rest of the universe. That's our plan.
Yeah, exactly. So what I'm thinking is like maybe I don't know. I don't think what you're going for and what I see in your videos is like we need extinctionism and we need like human extinctionism. What I think is we need like I guess that is kind of the message or the core message, but it's gonna be like way further out. Like we need like full universal extinction, and this is gonna take a very, very, very fucking long time, and we're gonna have to continue actually. Unfortunately,
look, someone actually suggested this the other day. They said that, why don't you start a fake movement? And it's like, is that really going to work? What, I should put all of my time into a fake movement that we don't actually believe in, put out videos espousing messages that we don't actually believe in, and that are ethically and morally inferior. Like, I don't know. Like, the thing is, you're only going to get complete idiots join you, right? So how is that going to be
It's really unfortunate, isn't it? Like, it's kind of like I don't know. There's just too many moving parts, man. Like, James, I'm sorry, but it's just really like, we probably can do it if we really put...
Look, I made a video on this, right? I made a video. You should go and watch it. It's about 15 videos back or so, maybe 20 now. It's called Why You Should Trust the Pro-Extinction Movement Will Be Successful. Okay, it's a 13-minute video, a deep dive on this topic. And yeah, you should watch it.
Yeah, I'll give it a watch. But I really do think that ultimately you are going to have to need the approval of people that don't necessarily believe in the best, or like they don't comprehend the best outcome that like me and you or some other people are capable of maybe like understanding. We want to eliminate suffering, right? That's the core thing, right? That's the core, like,
And the core
even if
problem,
it's
the
like,
core problem is
yeah,
human resistance, right?
yeah,
So that's the
100%.
problem that we're trying to solve, and we're working on it from every different angle possible. Again, I
Yeah.
go over to the details in that on that video. You should check it out.
Okay, I'll give it a look. How long ago was that? Is that like just recently or?
Yeah, 2 or 3 days ago.
Awesome. I'll give it a look. But yeah, I really think there may, unfortunately, with the current humans, there may have to be a bit of deception involved. And this is like
Maybe.
one of the things. Yeah, it's really unfortunate.
Yeah,
like,
no, look,
I don't
we've
know.
thought about this. We are looking into it. Okay, so you're making
Yeah.
a good point. Actually, you are raising a good point, and it is something that we're looking into.
Okay. I appreciate you, James. And I think, this may be a thing that like takes an extremely long time, but if you keep doing what you're doing and, you keep being what you're doing, you will be a pioneer, So I really appreciate what you're doing, James. And, yeah, good luck with that, man.
Thank you for coming on. And yeah, if you want to help the movement, contribute ideas and stuff, but if you're serious, not just trolling, then yeah, join properly, become an actual activist, become a real part of the movement, and yeah, get involved in the direction of the movement. If you think you know better and you actually want to, become part of it and steer it in the right direction according to you, then get involved, right? Click on my profile on TikTok, click on the button to the website, read about us, and click on the Discord, the WhatsApp, join us. Become a real member. All right, let's see who else we got. Oh, sorry, Eleanor.
Hello, Dad.
Ah, total misclick there, Eleanor. Not trying to troll you, I promise. All right, who else we got? Angev. Angev coming up next. Angev, hello.
Hi.
How's it going?
Good. How are you?
Good.
I'm not gonna be long because I totally agree with you. I just wanted to know. I just joined the WhatsApp, and I really, really agree with you. I just wanted to know, are you not scared of the exposure and the risks you're taking? Because I'm an activist in other areas, and I know the oppression is getting really, really bad. So how are you? Have you ever received like threats or
Oh yeah, all the time.
yeah, and from powerful people, like not regular people, like are you
No. I've never had threats from Benjamin Netanyahu or anything like that.
okay, so do you think this is actually feasible? Like, do you think we could actually
It's the only right thing. So it's the only thing to fight for. And, how can you possibly say it's impossible, right? That would just be, I don't know, irrational, right? So there's no reason to think it's impossible, and it's the right
Mhm.
thing. So we have, being correct on our side, right? That's the biggest advantage
Yes,
possible.
yes, I agree. Okay, thank you. I'm
Thank
gonna
you.
keep listening to the debate.
Awesome. And yeah, feel free to pipe up in the Discord. The Discord is the best place for conversing and discussing. And we encourage people to talk as much as possible, to get as active as possible in the Discord. Show us your videos, ask us questions. Hello, how's it going?
Hello, how are you?
Good.
How will you handle what's your backup plan if many powerful governments try to stop this movement?
Well, they did that with every other movement, right? So that's always going to happen. And yeah, we'll have to, criticize them and, do a bit of a Greta Thunberg, maybe. Who knows?
Well, in countries like Russia and India, you will get murdered by the government. So, what if every country becomes like that?
Well, there's a lot of ways to, use end-to-end encryption so that the government can't see what you're doing, what messages you're sending. So that's one thing. And yeah, I don't think. Yeah, sure. Look, maybe some activists will get killed at some point, but they'll be fighting for their cause, and it's only the cowards that are too scared to actually try and help.
Most people are against it though. And you can't force it because you have nothing to force it with.
Not yet, but that's what we're working towards achieving.
How do you plan to force it? Like with weapons or with awareness?
No, by force, right? You know, animals can't
By
make
force,
decisions,
like
right? Animals can't decide to go extinct. You have to do it for them, right? And it's the same with humans.
many human rights activists will disagree with it. It's not morals, they say.
Well, you know, suffering continuing for years, that's more immoral. So,
Okay, thank you. I believe in this movement.
thank you. Appreciate
Okay.
your time. Thank you for coming up. And yeah, get involved, support us. Okay, this person's been waiting for quite a long time. Let's get them up. Boisclar. Hello.
It's baklava. But hello. So as I'm kind of like looking through your whole, like some of your content, I'm kind of wondering why you would choose this path for a movement. Like, do you understand the political kind of like landscape today? Do you understand like, you know, like things about like how the world is right now? Like, why is it extinction that you're going to?
Well, it's what's most needed.
Wouldn't you say that, I don't know, like, okay, that could be the end, kind of like, that's clearly a long-term goal. That's not going to happen today. But as things that you can build with this kind of enthusiasm that you show,
Like what?
that can actually also alleviate suffering for
Magic.
people right now.
Promagic.com. We have another promagic.com member. Welcome aboard.
That's not pro magic though.
Have you formed a group chat yet?
But that is not pro magic though.
Oh, really? So how do you end all suffering without magic? I'm can't wait to hear it.
Well, it's obviously going to be
Magic.
no, it's going to be things that you can, like infrastructure that you can build within the system where you are actually supporting people that can't go to things that are already existent. For example,
That's
the
really,
government.
really
There's a lot of people that don't
descriptive.
fit the
Thank
police.
you for that amazing description and explanation. I was blown away, personally. I think my fans were as well, very impressed, and we'll all be subscribing to your channel and keeping up with those fascinating thoughts that you've got going on there. All right, who else we got? Rainier. Rainier's been waiting for a while. Let's bring up Rainier. Hello.
Well, hello.
Hello.
My question is, so if you're bro extension, I don't know how to pronounce it. Do we have to kill ourselves?
No, we need more humans. We need humans to keep having children until after we've completed animal extinction and doing as much as we can to prevent life. Then we can make humanity go extinct. But it won't be by suicide. We'll be doing it for them, because it would be very nasty to ask people to do that.
So everyone has to die so we can eventually die all.
We need to keep living, and we need humanity to be strong and healthy for hundreds of years until we've done animal extinction, and then as much as we can to prevent life, and then we can make humanity go extinct. Yeah.
I would rather see people kill themselves in that case. So we end suffering.
Well, that's really lovely. You know, we could just, just hand the knives out to the children, and away they go, right? What a beautiful sight. I'm sure everyone will just have no problem doing it. You know, no hesitation, no stress. Everyone will do it perfectly, right? And you won't have anyone at the end saying, "Oh, it's just me now. Guess I don't have to do it anymore." What a crazy idea. Hello, how you doing?
Hi, I'm good. How are you? Can you explain what's going on?
Yeah, there's a lot of suffering going on, and we need to put a stop to it.
So you want everyone to die.
No, we want everyone to not have to suffer.
But then I believe that there are some people that are not suffering.
But they might suffer, right? They're still in danger.
Okay, but then like, is it forcefully or like poor choice?
Forcefully.
Oh
People
no.
can't make good choices, so we have to do it for them.
No, that's not right.
You think we live in a world of people making great choices right now?
No, I think
Okay.
nobody's perfect.
So there you go, right? People can't make these decisions for themselves.
But I believe when it comes to life, everybody should choose if they want to die or not.
Why? Why? That's a horrible choice to have to make.
Okay, but forcefully is a bit too much.
Why? How else are you going to have extinction?
Why would you want extinction though?
Animals are suffering terribly. Human children are suffering terribly. People are suffering terribly. Extinction will benefit them. So it's only the selfish people that want them to keep suffering.
I just feel like there should be some people that are put in the category of like being forcefully,
Why don't we just
annihilated.
have no suffering, total extinction, no suffering, done with it? You're overthinking it.
No.
Yeah, you are. You're really overthinking it. Okay, thank you for coming on.
Okay.
Nostalgia, everybody. Thank you, Nostalgia. Let's see who else we got. Okay, Spain debate coming up next. Mr. Spain debate. Hello. Hola.
Hello.
¿Qué pasa?
Hello. I wanted to ask you about the premise or the foundation of your worldview, and which is correct me if I'm wrong, that suffering is bad. I wanted to ask you, how do you justify that statement, the bad?
Great question. So when someone is suffering, it's bad for them, and therefore it's bad.
That is circular. I ask you
No, that's not. It's not circular at all. If it's bad for someone, then it's bad for them, right? So it's bad.
I understand completely. I agree, but the question wasn't if being someone experiencing pain is that bad. The question was, how do you justify the bad? The premise that your worldview is built on is suffering is bad. So that the bad, how is it justified in your worldview?
Well, look, it's obvious, isn't it? Like, you wouldn't want to be eaten alive. You wouldn't want to be born into a dungeon, right? That's a bad thing.
No. Again, I understand that, and I completely agree. I'm
Good.
not.
Then that's it. That's all you need then.
No, it's not. It's not because.
Well, yes, it is. Look. The police
Wait a
don't
second.
say, "Look, let me read a philosophy book before I help you," or not, right?
No. Forget about philosophy. Don't put labels.
You forget about philosophy.
Don't put. First of all, don't put labels on it. If just calling something a philosophy, well, your worldview is a philosophy by definition. It's your philosophy of, knowledge. Your outlook on knowledge.
Anyway, you're struggling. Let's try and do better.
Okay, I'll make it more. I'll make it way simpler. So, you said that. Well, it's obvious. By that standard, any other argument could be justified by that. It's obvious. So, for example,
and people like you do that, right? But smart people
wait a second.
have to actually think properly.
You have to let me finish, please. So, just by that, if you put that standard there, I asked you how do you justify it, and you said, well, it's obvious. By that standard, the opposite of the statement.
But look, if someone says, "How do you know 1 + 1 = 2?" I'll just say it's obvious. And if they say I don't get it, then I'm going to say, okay, something's wrong with you. It's really wrong with you. Goodbye. Stop wasting my time.
That is not an argument, though.
It is.
How can you're wasting my time is an argument? That is not an argument. Do you know the definition?
Like I was saying earlier, right? We're only looking for people smart enough to understand that suffering is bad to join the movement. People that, you know, understand that child abuse is bad, right? People like you, it's like, I don't know if it's good or bad. You know, is child
No,
abuse
I'm not
good?
saying.
I don't know, right?
I never. Don't put words in people's mouths, man. But I never claimed that was first of all good. All I'm asking for is on a
Well, how do you know it's
worldview
not?
level.
How do you know it's not good?
Who said
According to your-
it's not good? Who said this again? I'm not making claims. I'm asking about the justification on your claims.
And I've told you.
Yeah, saying it's obvious isn't a justification because
Right, but
by
again,
definition,
if I say 1 + 1 = 2, and someone says no, that's not good enough, then I'm going to say you're crazy. Goodbye. Have a nice day.
so you have to justify not the fact that 1 + 1 is 2,
I
but
don't
the fact.
listen.
the fact
This is
of
where you got it
knowledge.
wrong. I do not have to justify that child abuse is bad.
And you have to give an account for that knowledge.
No, you just have to realize that child abuse is bad.
It's not about realization, man.
No,
It's about
you're struggling. Look, like I said, there are two types of people in this world: those that understand it's bad, and those that don't, like you. And those like you who don't understand that child abuse is bad will never understand it because you're genetically incapable of understanding it.
when you're making. First of all, do you know the definition of an argument? You're saying here, come debate me.
I'm saying that
debate.
that
Let me
there's
finish,
people,
please. Let me
there's
finish, please.
people
Let me
who
finish.
there's
Let me finish.
people
Don't
who are
talk
so
over people.
irrational that you can't give them a logical argument.
Let me finish.
Because like you, you're not capable of rationality.
That is not saying the other person, which is essentially what you're saying. Saying the other person is incapable of understanding my argument,
I'm
which
telling
isn't
the truth. I'm
which
saying
isn't-
I'm trying to educate everyone on the phenomenon here, right? It's because
What is
the guest right
justification
now,
of your?
the guest
What is
right
the
now
justification
is
of your
genetically
premises?
incapable of understanding that child abuse is bad. It's a genetic issue. Okay.
How when you have on the title there, debate me. Remove that and say come here so I can educate you, because that debate implies arguments and you have no arguments because the argument that it's obvious is not an argument.
So I need to argue for why child abuse is bad.
No, it is bad, but the problem is that in
How do
your
you know?
worldview,
How do you know?
because in my worldview I have a justification for that.
So what's your justification for saying that child abuse is bad then? If you really need one, what's yours?
My justification is that I'm an Orthodox Christian and I have
All right, that's it, buddy. You're out of here. That's the worst justification I've ever heard in my life. Okay, moving on. All right, next we've got Abiba 19 coming up. Hello, how you doing?
Hey, hi, how are you?
Good, thank you.
Well, I'm here to ask just a few questions. I understand what you're saying, that child abuse is bad, of course. Yes, the
Thank
world
you.
is a
Finally, someone
suffering
says
place. We're suffering. I always think about that. I'm like, why are we here? We're all suffering, you know? But
Yeah.
it doesn't specifically make me. So what do you have to say I know
What do you
that the
mean?
world is
Doesn't specifically make you what?
like I'm not suffering. I'm not getting bombed, you know?
Good
I'm
for you.
not
You're the
hungry.
lucky one. Yeah, you're a lucky
Yeah,
one. Got it.
like you know what I'm saying? Like I only have
Privileged.
yeah, that's it. But I know that the world is suffering. I see it, you know? I
Okay.
see children getting killed all the
But
time.
do you do anything about it though?
But that's my question. I'm here to ask you those things. I agree on those things with you, but what's your movement? Why are you here? What are you trying to do?
So we
Now
want
that
to
we know,
abolish as much suffering as possible.
okay, so you're trying to get a lot of people, as much people as you can.
Yes.
So we could all say no to the suffering.
It's not about just saying no. That's not going to achieve anything. We have to have active solutions, and actually take action and create a world with no suffering by total extinction.
What's total extinction?
So extinction is when a species no longer exists anymore.
Exactly. That's how I understood it too. And that's why I came. That's why I wanted to talk. So how do you do that? How do you eliminate the existence of someone?
Euthanasia.
which is
It's, to put someone down, put an animal down, when your pet is sick and, it gets euthanized, right?
yeah. So we do that to who?
Everyone.
So you're suggesting we're all gonna die? We're gonna leave Earth?
Well, what's the alternative? Suffering for billions of more years?
No, but that's
Why
what
is
you're
that
saying,
better?
right? That's what I understood too. Oh my God, but that's crazy. Have
Well,
you
no,
thought
the
about it? How
suffering,
can you
allowing
just
suffering is
eliminate?
crazy.
Yeah, but how can you eliminate everything? How?
Well, you
How do
just
you
do as
do
much, you just try.
extinction?
You have to try. Just do as much as you can. Do your best.
Meaning you're like how?
You take action, do activism.
Okay, I think I should stick around to listen more so I can
Yeah.
understand. I'll be around. Thank you for giving me the chance.
No worries. Yeah, we have to grow the movement until we have enough people to change the world, make it against suffering, take power, and carry out total extinction by force, right? Otherwise, it's just, if it's optional, it just won't happen, right? Who's going to optionally go extinct? They're just going to keep having kids for billions of years and abusing them. So, no, you have to use force to defend life. Otherwise, life will use force to make life suffer, okay? If the police weren't allowed to use force, then guess what? We'd have an even worse world, right? So, hello, how you doing?
Hi. Suffering is not good.
Correct.
Not good at all. But the way you propose to put an end to it will not solve it
Why?
entirely.
Why?
You know why? Because after one dies, his souls is sent back again. So someone always.
I'm sure they are in that amazing dream that you had, and I'm sure it was a great dream. I'm pro dreaming, pro healthy sleep, but keep it in the dream world. Hello, Amiro, how you doing?
Hello. So can you hear me well?
Yeah, all good.
All right. So at first, I want to say this. I am not intending to tell you that anything that you believe in is bad. I'm just here to debate you, and I'm really interested.
Okay.
So I'll take this from a non-emotional standpoint. So at first, suffering by itself is of course horrible. I went through it, and it's very bad. It's spreading rapidly, but if you end it in this way, it might just end in more suffering.
How?
It's because people by themselves never want to die, and if they die, they suffer. It's like very simple. And so if they go extinct and they know that they are about to go extinct, it all ends in suffering. So if you try to
Yeah, but
use
that's
different
a tiny
methods,
amount of suffering compared to billions of years, though, right?
yes, but suffering by itself, well, maybe not suffering, but suffering brings the challenges that make people grow. Like without your own challenges, you
How?
wouldn't
So
be
when
smart.
someone gets terminal cancer, how do they grow from that? The tumor grows, but how
Well,
does the person grow?
well, if they manage to survive from that,
No, you
they
can't
become
survive
stronger.
terminal cancer. It's terminal. It's a death sentence.
Cancer overall.
So in my example, I'm saying terminal cancer, right? How do you grow from terminal cancer once you're dead?
What do you mean exactly by that?
So when you die, how are you benefiting from the suffering that caused you to die?
Well, dying in the end is inevitable for people overall, but if we're talking about
You're not
mental
answering my
strength,
question,
it
Amira.
comes from.
You're not answering my question. How do you? You're saying that we benefit from suffering. So when you get terminal cancer and die from it, how are you growing from that as a person?
The person themselves are not benefiting at all, but since they died and their family has to go through the challenge, if their family manages to grow from it,
they become much stronger, they become much more resilient.
So,
And
are you going to start putting like carcinogens in people's drinks and stuff? Like, just sprinkling it in to help them?
I don't do that.
Well, why don't you? Surely that would be a really good thing to do, right?
Well, I don't do that at all
Oh, well,
because
I think,
like
we've got promagic.com, and why don't we get procancer.com as well? You should start that one.
I don't do that.
You're
Like
saying that people dying from cancer is like one of the best things in the world.
I'm saying that it's a bad thing overall.
Amiro,
but
I'm
if
sorry,
some
but you've been cooked and served like ridiculously bad, bro. Like, that's embarrassing. Your argument is that you grow as a person from terminal cancer. Like, Jesus Christ. We've had some bad ones today, but that was pretty shocking, Amiro. Like, I genuinely expected so much better from you. Okay, next we've got Luna Bunny joining us. Luna Bunny, hello, how you doing?
I think I spoke to you before on my alt account.
Okay,
Remember Amber Heard fangirl?
okay.
Before I didn't agree with it, but everyone is like, when they come here to argue with you, all they say is, we have to fix the ideology and stuff like that. But it's not going to put an end to real suffering, like, let's say, getting raped or groomed or stuff like that. Like, changing the ideology or becoming leftist isn't going to get rid of stuff like that, because that's a real suffering. And no matter what you do need just an end to everything, to end all type of pain, because they're not really looking at it properly. Because when you say suffering, you mean all types of suffering, not just kids dying or stuff like that, even though it is all suffering, but still.
Yeah, we need to abolish all suffering. Nobody deserves to suffer.
But they don't see that. Like, they think that suffering's only kids getting abused.
Yeah, the thing is, they've evolved to be that way. They've evolved to be ignorant, right? The thing is, let's just imagine human evolution, right, throughout history. The smarter ones went extinct. The stupider ones became, more likely to have kids, right? People having 10 children, they're not exactly geniuses, are they?
No.
So that's it. That's it. We evolved to be ignorant, and that's what you see.
Okay. Well, I do want to join the movement, though.
Great. Yeah, join us. Absolutely. Come on board. Click on my profile, click on the website, join the Discord, join the WhatsApp, get involved, get active, start making videos, help us grow the movement, right?
Yeah, sure.
Brilliant. Well, thank you for coming on. Always good to meet a potential activist or a fellow activist. We've got lots of people making videos. Just FYI for everyone in the chat, I didn't start this movement. It started 3 years ago. I joined a year ago, and it's been growing globally. We've got dozens of people making videos every single day, and we've now got people donating big money. We've actually got serious money coming into the movement's coffers now, like serious money. Like there's a lot of people actually donating big money. So it's getting big, it's growing, and it's going to get more serious. The end of all suffering is not an idea that's going to go away anytime soon. Anyone that wants to donate, you can go on proextinction.com/donate. But we would rather you become an activist and actually take action and help us grow the movement. All right, let's see who else we got in the queue. Who else we got? All right. Ooh, who to choose? All right, let's bring up the person with the dog in their picture. Why not? Mr. Secret, hello.
Hello.
How you doing?
Good. I think that I'm a leftist, so I think that you should be able to just like make euthanasia, for example, more available. So if people are done with their life and done with their suffering, that they should just be able to, end their own life. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and if we take over the world, which we are planning on doing, then yeah, we will make euthanasia accessible to everyone with, a bit of regulation, obviously.
Oh yeah, great. No, I agree with that. But do you think that like you're pro-extinction, so you think that like the human race should be extinct in total, or just people who are done with their life and just
No,
want to
it
die
should
then?
just all gone, all forcefully made extinct, gone.
Ah, right. Yeah, I don't think that's nice because I do think people can live very happy lives and be happy that they were alive.
The thing is, people can't make responsible decisions regarding suffering and danger of suffering, which is why they're having children, and it's why they're surviving in danger so that they can have more children. So it's not a responsible thing. Understanding rationality myself, I can tell you that yes, the rational decision is to not exist when you're in, the worst danger possible, right? Unlimited danger.
Yeah, right, I guess. But I still think that you should be able to live because I live a very happy life and I'm very happy that I was
But
born.
the thing is, right,
So
that causes suffering, right, to the people that exist and to the children that they force into the world. So unless you have total extinction, then you're going to have suffering continue for billions of years. And if you make it optional, people are going to be too scared to opt in. They can't make the responsible decision for themselves, and they will end up suffering terribly. So we have to do it for them.
yeah, I guess, but I still think that if you like are done with your life, you should just be able to have euthanasia and at least have a try at a happy life and a possibility to live.
What happens right now is people get hit by cars, they end up with brain damage, and then they live in a country where there's no euthanasia, right? So they're completely, right, they're screwed. So
Yeah,
that's
true. But
that's
I think
what keeps
that
happening.
we should just make Yeah, true, but I think we should just make euthanasia a little more available to people who are actually in like really suffering situations who have cancer
But
or
again,
whatnot.
look, if people were, if these humans that we're talking about were capable of making rational decisions, then we would give them the freedom to do so because we'd be able to trust that they'd make rational decisions, okay? But we absolutely can't do that because they've evolved to be irrational. So they can't make the correct decisions for themselves or for others. So we have to do it for them. And they are better off not existing instead of suffering terribly.
Sure.
And the thing is, if you make it optional as well, then what's going to happen is the lucky ones are going to benefit from that, and the unlucky ones will not benefit from it. They'll suffer terribly.
Yeah, but I still think you should. Some people just live a fun life, live a
What you're
happy life.
suggesting creates victims.
Yeah, sure, but suffering is a part of life. You can still live
it's
a
not.
happy life after
Tell that to
suffering.
children being abused, right? Go and tell
Yes,
that.
true.
Go and tell that
I
to
think-
parents whose children have died of cancer and stuff, right? Go and tell them how great it is that their child suffered.
Yeah, I don't think it's great that their child suffered, but I've personally had like mental health stuff happen to me, and I'm still happy that I'm alive
Right, yeah,
and
but
that
you're the
I've
lucky
made it
one.
through that.
The lucky ones don't get to condemn the unlucky ones to suffering, which is what you're trying to do.
I guess. I mean, I'm not planning on having children, but I'm also not
But
planning
you
on
are speaking out for
causing
saying that,
extinction.
suffering's good. It's a good part of the world. Child abuse is good. So, get out of here with that terrible opinion. You're finished. All right, moving on. Okay, bringing up somebody that's been asking for a while to join. So, DDJ, hello.
Hello, James. Can you hear me?
Yes. How you doing?
Hi. Not bad. Yourself?
Good.
I've just got like one thing I haven't really heard been addressed yet. So when you go on with your plan to cause total extinction, would be what animals, humans, plants alike, inclusive.
Yeah.
And let's say all life is eradicated.
Yeah.
Have you thought about the fact that more life can just arise after that?
Yeah, the most
through
important part
abiogenesis?
is the prevention of that happening.
And how exactly would that be achieved in, like, would you say?
Well, with science and technology, most likely, yeah.
How
We're not
so?
really praying for it.
Yeah, how so? Because, like, let's say you can like make the Earth more radioactive and like I don't know. But even then, life can still arise. Like early Earth was also very radioactive before life arose from that
Right.
abiogenesis. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
But then, like, so you say science and technology, but like how like specifically can that be done?
Why do you need to know?
Because that's to ensure that suffering won't happen on Earth.
Well, no. The mentality you should have is, we should try. Not unless I have certainty ahead of time, then I'm not going to do it. Right? That's called cowardice.
Yes, but suffering is still gonna like the truth. I just feel like suffering is still gonna happen. It's horrible.
That's called pessimism. That's called pessimism.
It's just something that's
Which
kind
is
of
irrational.
fundamental. As long as
pessimism
existence
is technically a form of irrationality.
as long as existence as long as existence continues, suffering will continue. Like same as like in other like.
Well, look, you could come up with a million excuses, right? But at the end of the day, that's all that they are, excuses. There's nothing like rational. You're just trying to avoid the moral obligation to actually take action and help.
You can what about like other planets and stuff? Would you plan to like try eventually to get there and to go across the whole universe like once humans get
Yeah. Look, we might be able to pass that job over to AI and robots, right? So we may be able to do that as pretty soon, right? So if they can go off for billions of years and make sure life doesn't come back on Earth, then why not?
Perhaps. Yeah. Well, good luck on that. And that's all. That's the only question I have. All right.
Thank you for coming up. Appreciate your time. Okay, that was pretty good. Let's see who else we got. So we have someone obsessed with reincarnation wants to debate, but the thing is, I don't really like debating spiritual people because they're the most irrational, right? They're the craziest of all. So they're just, I don't know, they can be quite frustrating. Right, I'm going to work my way up from the bottom of the queue now, just in case we've got loads of people desperate to join, waiting for ages. So let's try and get through them. If you join the queue and leave, you'll appear as a ghost in the queue. So I'm going to have to go through a few of these ghosts to get to a real person. All right, waiting for the guest to join. Waiting for the guest to join. Right, they've been invited up. Okay. Next, let's move on to Fractured Taco. Let's try and get them up. Okay, a lot of ghosts in the queue. Don't worry, we'll get someone. All right, we've got Etika joining us now. Hello.
Hello.
How's it going?
Hey, so I'm actually a follower of yours.
Great. Nice to meet you. Do you have any questions?
Your ideas and your end goal, and I think that regardless of whether you actually fight for your goals or not, this extinction event will happen anyway.
Yeah, we're not talking about an extinction event. It has to be done bit by bit, structured, organized. So we're not talking about releasing a virus or an asteroid or anything like that.
Yeah, I know. I mean, the end of life, I think, will happen regardless of whether we fight for it or not.
Right, but that doesn't mean that suddenly we can just start abusing children because the sun will burn out eventually.
That's true. You can say that we're minimizing suffering
Who is?
by, well, people who, because I find myself to be of your views mostly.
Okay. But you just said
But
that
I think,
child abuse is fine because a billion years from now they'll be dead.
well, I guess, yeah, that's true, but I didn't think, not directly.
I mean, that justifies anything, right? You could literally torture a child, stab them, it's fine.
I agree with
years
you.
from now, no problem.
100% that existence is suffering, and I think inevitably existence will cease.
Right, but
and I
that's
agree with you,
lazy. That's lazy. That's lazy. It's not good enough.
That's, well, yeah, I agree, to be honest.
Thank you for coming up, Edeka. And yes, you should do better. and join the movement, become an activist, because sitting around and hoping for it, or not hoping for it, just forgetting about it, it's not good enough. Take action today. Hello, how you doing?
Fine, how are you?
Good, thank you.
So I think people would take some type of medication currently right away to end their suffering, and I'd say 20% of the world's population would do it willingly because of the immense suffering that they're enduring. So I think I just feel so many people are just living to die, and they're just waiting to die and hope it's
awful,
over.
isn't it? Yeah,
Yeah.
and then they don't have that pill. They don't have euthanasia. They just have to keep suffering for decades, right? It's awful. No escape.
And what's the point? What's the point of living to suffer if you're not enjoying your life, if you are just suffering, if you've got cancer or some terminal illness, why hang around and just suffer for who knows how long? So that was my point. I think most people just don't know what they could take, and a lot of states in America don't allow assisted suicide, or there's only I don't know how many it is, might be 20 or 30 that might allow assisted suicide. But I think they should allow it everywhere. If you're done, if you're tired, if you're sick, if you're beyond repair, so to speak, I think you should be given the option that,
Absolutely.
hey, I know who I am. I know what date it is. I know what planet I'm on, know my name, but I just don't feel like living anymore. Let people know what they can take and get them to sign off on
But the
it.
problem is that's never going to exist for animals. So we have to do animal extinction forcefully. They need it more than us. Animals actually suffer worse than humans do.
Right. Well, that's a big job. There's a lot of animals on the planet. That's for sure. It's
It's
huge
a big job, big suffering. So it has to be done.
Yeah, I agree. Well, I'm going to join your movement, and you're very intelligent and like conversing with you and hearing you. So keep up the good work, and
Thank you.
hope to keep on growing with it.
Great. Well, yeah, I look forward to talking to you in the Discord or the WhatsApp. The Discord is probably the best place to join. The WhatsApp is great as well, although we're kind of transforming it, reorganizing it at the minute. But the Discord is the place to be. We've got loads of activists from around the world, loads of interesting people with interesting takes on this who are doing activism under our flag with our approval, essentially. So yeah, come and meet the community fighting to end all suffering. Become a part of the community. Start doing activism today. That's the only way to set yourself apart from the rest of the world. Hello, how you doing?
What's up, man?
Yeah, good.
Yeah, why don't you go ahead and start it off? Go ahead. Right now. Go ahead and start. Euthanize yourself. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you for coming on. That wouldn't help, right? That would be counterproductive. That would be opting out of the system instead of fighting the system.
Yeah,
Hello, how you
careful
doing?
with the guys, careful with the words you say on live too about that type of stuff. You know what I mean? You don't want to get taken down, right?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. How's your day going?
Good. You?
I'll be honest, I see your content on my FYP. You crack me up. So, what inspired you to go on this mission of pro-extinction?
Yeah, the movement reached out to me a year ago and said, join us. We're fighting.
Oh, you're not
to
the
end.
founder?
No.
Oh, there's already a founder of this group.
Yeah, it wasn't me.
Okay. And ultimately, why do you believe suffering is so bad that it should just be ended completely and we should just let microorganisms take over the earth? I guess that's your plan? The animals will still be there.
No, we want a completely sterile Earth and a sterile universe as well.
Oh, but that's like too ambitious, right?
Why?
Well, you never will have control of the universe because we have measured out the universe.
But look, it would be irresponsible to just cause extinction and not do prevention of it coming back, right?
But you can't zap the entire universe.
Well, we can do as much as possible, right? So it doesn't have to be the whole
You might be able
thing.
to make humanity go extinct.
Well, no, I mean, we control animal populations in the hundreds of billions, right? And with, if we've got all the time in the world, of course we can make, animals extinct. We can do prevention of life developing, and we can try and do that
Well,
for
you
as
can
much
never
as we
prevent spores from growing, mushrooms from growing everywhere.
Oh, how do you know?
Because it's too embedded. It's logical. It's too embedded in the system, right? It's like going to the
You're being
it's like going to
small-minded. No,
it's like going to sewer water and saying clean it. There's too
you're
much.
being small-minded. You're being small-minded.
So wait, the only way you're gonna nuke the Earth?
No, that's also being small-minded, right? You're limiting your thinking to today's technology, right? We
So
have
what's
millions of years to do this.
So what's it? Millions of years, but then you're not going to be part of the plan unless there's immortality. But immortality would go against.
But I don't need to be part of the plan. It's not about me. It's bigger than me.
So you believe everyone should have not been born?
They'd be better off, yeah.
Why would you be better off? Do you not like your life? Are you not happy? Like I have a heart condition. I suffer.
No, the thing is that life shouldn't be forced to exist in unlimited danger, right? Which it is.
Why not?
Because
Why
it's
not?
unfair to the ones that get tortured as a result.
It's life. That's how it happens. Lion eats another lion. It's
Well,
life.
so what's that's the same logic that a child abuser uses.
No.
Yeah, it is. It's just life, right? It's just lions eat deer and whatnot.
Yeah, it's just
so-
life. And when people do those things, life is putting them consequences and taking them out of society.
And
Yes.
no,
So
not
that's just
not
life.
all of them, though. Not all of them.
No, because we can't catch everyone, unfortunately.
Right. So yeah, a lot of them are getting away with it.
Yeah, that is true.
And
It's
why is that a good thing?
It's not a good thing. That's
Why do you support
that's
that?
an objective bad thing because that's not.
Why do you
progressive.
support that? Why do you support that?
I don't support that. You're just comparing my.
All right,
thing
Vassal,
to-
you're finished, mate. You're done. All right, you're just meandering now. Should have gotten rid of him like a minute or two ago, really. Hello, how you doing?
Very good. How are you?
Good.
I'd actually like to talk about your point. Is it meant to be hyperbolic? I'm not sure what you mean by it's the right thing to do.
Yeah, it's the only way to end all suffering, and therefore it's the only right thing to do. Life is unethical. It causes, unacceptable suffering. So we need to protect the victims and protect as much life as possible from being forced to exist and to suffer terribly in this world.
So you're suggesting that ethics is external to human experience? Because it would have to be for your argument to work.
Yeah.
So you're postulating a god?
No.
Well, you'd have to be.
That's a bit
There's
of a
nothing
leap.
external. Not really. It would have to be mind independent of human beings.
Yeah, rationality. But that's
Rationality
not
is
God.
not mind independent of human beings.
It is.
No, it isn't.
It is, actually.
Give me any rock that rationalizes.
Well, rocks don't have brains, but, we do.
Okay, do people with schizophrenia rationalize?
Yeah.
Really? So what is your definition of rationalization?
Well, we're not talking about rationalization, but rationality, right?
Rationality, sure.
So, yeah. Well, it's a good question. I'm sure we could just Google it.
Sure, the Google definition relies on mind-dependent factors. If it's mind-dependent, it doesn't have to be human. You're purporting that ethics are independent of mind. Therefore, you have not
So-
substantiated your point.
Yeah. The thing is, a mind that's working properly is working rationally, right? A healthy mind, right? So what we've got is evolution purposefully restricting that and making people irrational. So you've got a normal mind, and then what we've got with humans is a crippled mind, basically. So the norm is just to be rational, but evolution has crippled humanity horrifically and purposefully, warped it and warped what should be normal into something awful, basically.
Are dolphins rational?
No.
Are insects rational, like ants?
No.
So what is rational? Because your definition seems to preclude all life, which means it has to be external to life, which means it has to be mind independent, which you can't substantiate.
Yeah.
It's a very weak argument, to be honest.
No. So rationality it just develops through intelligence, basically, and you can become more rational. But the thing is, like I've been trying to say, is that humans have evolved to be irrational specifically because it makes them more likely to reproduce.
And reproduction is bad in your estimation?
Yeah, causes suffering.
Why? Okay, you think suffering is innately bad?
Yeah.
Why? What grounds that external to the human experience?
So it's just obvious, basically.
That's a fallacy. Give an actual answer.
A rational mind can see that a child being abused, that's a bad thing.
Sure.
So there you go.
No, I
You
can agree with
accept
that.
it. There you go.
But 1 second. No, I accept that one premise. You can't generalize that to all suffering because
Why
that's
not?
dishonest.
Why?
Because not all suffering is the same as a child being hurt.
Okay, but you can generalize that there is unacceptable suffering.
Yeah, sure, but not all suffering is unacceptable.
Then it has to be abolished.
Sure, you don't abolish it by abolishing all people. You abolish that
No,
form of
you
perpetration.
do it however you have to.
Sure, so a person who breaks up with their partner, is that suffering?
Yeah.
Is that the same suffering as somebody being molested as a child?
No, it's different, obviously.
Exactly, they're very different. So you wouldn't kill somebody just because they're suffering from a breakup. You'd say they're going to get over it.
The thing is, the mistake you're making is that...
Come on, even you know you're making a dumb argument.
No.
That's what you're
It's actually
smiling.
you that's making a dumb argument. So the thing is, unless you have total extinction, suffering will continue for billions of years, and that's what you're irrationally ignoring.
Wait, no, because a rational person would also produce the fact that a lot of joy also occurs in life. And so it'd be a counterbalance. You've got an equal force here. You've got a lot of joy. You've got a lot of suffering. Can you reduce the suffering and increase the joy?
How much joy justifies a child being tortured to death?
It doesn't justify it.
Oh, but you just said it does. So how? What's the
No,
ratio?
that's not what I said. Can you
said
stop
a balance.
being dishonest?
You said there's a balance. You said there's a
Yeah,
balance.
there's a balance on scale. You're not talking about individual substances.
So how does this balance work?
Sure. You wouldn't want somebody. Let's say you've got a child.
I've asked you a question.
I'm trying to answer.
You're on your final warning now. Okay. So you've said that there's a balance. How does it work?
I'm trying to explain that. You're just being dishonest. So let me explain. Yeah. So don't interrupt me. Okay. Calm down. So first of all, you would want to propose that a child who is suffering immensely, thus suffering exists, is bad, and therefore we should eradicate all people. What happens if we propose that with a child who is not suffering immensely, has a very nice life, is very good, is enjoying life? You would take that child's life away because somebody else is suffering. You're generalizing a population. That is actually what the Nazis did. I think it's quite sickening, to be honest.
Well, no, because
it is exactly their mindset.
You're evading the question, though. So you're being intellectually dishonest.
No, I'm not. I addressed the question.
No, you didn't.
You want to propose that one individual suffering is applicable to all.
You said that there's a balance, and I said, how does the balance work? You've not answered that question.
Individually. It works individually.
No, you don't. But you said it as a collective, so let's hear it.
Yeah, sure. Individually.
That's not as a collective. That's different.
No, it's 100% as a collective. Collective individual experience of positive and negatives can be attributed against you.
Individuals and collectives are different things.
Sure, but we don't just take a collective group of people with schizophrenia and say all people have schizophrenia. We take that individual subset of individuals and then climatize them to what they share.
We actually do have generalized rules for everyone, right? So we do that.
Sure, based on the individual
murder
level.
is illegal, right? So yes, we do have rules for everyone. We have zero tolerance policies on murder, and we should have a zero tolerance policy on suffering, which means total extinction.
No, it doesn't mean total extinction.
Why not?
Because you can eradicate suffering.
How?
Well, it depends on level. If you're setting the level as child abuse,
ProMagnet.com member, everyone.
If you set the level and you distinguish between somebody who's suffering, because you agreed there was a difference, somebody who's suffering from a breakup is nowhere near as bad as somebody suffering from a child. You don't believe that somebody suffering from a breakup.
Drake, you've evaded pretty much every question I've asked, given incredibly random answers to to different questions that weren't asked, basically. So you're answering a question that wasn't asked. You're strawmanning, essentially, and evading the questions, dodging the questions. You said, right, there's a collective balance where the joy outweighs the suffering for the collective, as a collective, right? So how does that balance work? He couldn't answer the question because there is no balance. There's no amount of happiness that can justify causing extreme suffering. And if there were, then child abuse would by default be totally moral. Hello, how you doing?
Hello, sir. I'm a big fan. If God was real, would you agree that he's evil?
Yeah, but I mean, on a basic level, sure.
Yeah, well, have you heard about Gnosticism?
Yeah.
Like the Christian sects, like they believe that God was evil.
Yeah, but I'm
That
an
he
atheist,
trapped.
so I'm not really interested in religion.
Yeah, but they have a pretty logical explanation. Like,
Yeah, no, they don't.
I mean, I can say it.
Yeah, reincarnation or Jesus, some other rubbish. We're not interested, right? Go and join a Christian TikTok stream. Go and do it there. All right, bringing up Joseph next. Joseph and his multicolored raincoat. No, Joseph is not loading in. Joseph is not loading in. We'll have to move on to someone else. Okay, we're bringing up Ref. Let's bring up the referee. Hello.
Hey, so before we start, do you mind if I ask you 3 questions about moral grounding?
Yeah, sure.
Do you believe that there's an underlying meaning to life?
No.
Do you believe that there's a shared nature between beings that could ground a common standard of harm?
A common standard of what?
Harm.
How do you mean exactly? I don't understand.
A common standard of harm is like you do something of a certain nature to any living thing and it would be harm. So it's a common standard of harm.
Yeah, I think that, certain things are universally harmful, like, being trapped in a life of hell, begging for death.
Okay. So the last one, is there a consequence structure to reality that treats certain actions differently than other actions?
Well, when you say to reality, I'm not reality, I'm a person, right?
I know, but this is more about your beliefs than what actually is in the universe. So I'm trying to narrow down what your moral foundation is. So I can based on the question so far, I can say, oh, common standard of harm. That's one basis for morality for you. But the
No,
meaning of life is
we
not.
don't rely on placeholders for rationality, basically, right? That's a placeholder for rationality. We do the thinking instead, right? So instead of replacing thought with dogma, we just think for ourselves.
That doesn't really answer my question.
Well, it should do.
Would you say that there isn't a consequence structure to reality that treats some actions better than others?
I mean, you're kind of drifting off into like unintelligible language, right? It's like, have you ever heard the idea that, if you can't explain yourself simply, then like you're stupid, basically?
Yeah, I've heard that before. Some people think that that's like I've heard someone put that if you
But
can't
no one knows
put
what you're
things into
talking
simple
about. I don't know what you're talking
terms.
about. You're putting it into weird abstract language and concepts that just doesn't mean anything to anyone.
Okay. Well, I can accept that you don't really see the utility of these structures. I'm just trying to ground a moral foundation so that we can.
The moral
talk about-
foundation is simple, right? It's you have to ask yourself, do I have any moral obligation? Should I try and help the world? And
Yeah.
the answer is yes.
But on the basis
so
of
then you
what,
have to.
Because if you can find a foundation that you can build off of, then you will be solid. You'll be grounded. You'll be able to base it off of something that's above your understanding. Therefore, your rationality will be able to be grounded in something real that you can examine. But if you can't do that, then it's arbitrary.
But no, the thing is, right? Rational humans don't rely on all of that stuff. Only irrational humans do.
I would disagree. I would say that if you're rational, then you're logical. You go based off of evidence, and you're charitable to other like rationalities.
Going off of evidence is not the only, thing that makes you rational.
No, logic does too. Evidence is a secondary thing, and then
But
like
everyone
going
has some
based
sort of
off
logic, right?
Conduct is another one.
Logic is just basically words compared to rationality being the language, right? So everyone
No,
has some sort of
logic is
logic.
the
Everyone has some
logic.
sort of logic, but everyone can use logic, right? But not everyone is rational. That's the difference.
Yeah, rationality would be integrating the logic, aka you're not contradicting yourself, with the evidence, with a sense of conduct that is like coherent and can build something greater.
I think there's more to it than that.
What do you think I should add?
I don't know. It is difficult to define rationality because the thing is that we live in an irrational world where the default is irrationality, and rationality is like, a rare thing essentially. So it should just be the default normal way of thinking, right? But essentially, to be irrational, you have to have brain problems essentially. So rationality is just normal, and most of humanity is irrational because they've evolved to be that way.
Well, I believe that the universe itself behaves in a roughly rational way, and the way that the human mind creates
How does the
patterns of
universe?
rationality
How is the
meant to
universe doesn't
emulate
have a
that.
brain? How can it be rational?
Well, the universe doesn't like behave rationally because it has a thought and it can make a decision.
You mean it
to
works
act
in a
rationally versus
coherent way?
irrationally.
Basically, it has coherent physics, basically.
Yeah, basically physics dictates that things need to be proportional. And rationality, the root of rationality comes from rational, aka ration, portion. So if the premise is balanced with
Rationality.
the outcome, then it's rational.
Rationality comes from genetics and from the hardware, basically.
I'm talking about the root of the word rationality.
Fair.
In ancient Greece, it was things being in proportion to one another. So being rational, making a rational statement, is making a statement where the premises are balanced with the outcome of the premise, the assertion.
Okay.
So if you say that the only way to prevent all suffering is to destroy all life, then your premise would need to match the outcome, which is that there is no life, there is no suffering, and it's an equal portion. So if that's rational, aka the premises is in balance with the outcome, then you're rational. But if not, then you are making logical leaps, or you're making like evidential leaps, and that wouldn't be rational.
Okay. Do you have a point?
Yeah, my point is basically that if you can ground morality in a meaning of life, and I believe that the meaning of life is love, or you can ground it in a standard of harm, or you can ground it in a consequence structure, then you can say that you can take actions toward.
Ref, this is great, and we'll read your book once you've finished it. I'm sure everyone's subscribing right now, and they can't wait for the book release. But that's it. You don't come onto a stream and start reading a book, bro. Hello, how you doing?
Hello. I wanted to say that you saying forcefully is sabotaging the movement because it will be seen as terrorist organization
By who?
by the world and the governments and the ones who want economic slaves.
But what's the alternative? To lie?
No, by saying it's anti-natalist consensual movement that encourages people to not have children.
That's
Until
only
we have-
no. Well, firstly, that's bad for extinction. And if we appeal for people to join the movement that aren't interested in the real movement, then how are we ever going to get the real people?
No, because if you say forcefully, you are sabotaging it more than
we're not.
helping it.
No, we're telling the truth. That's all. So we should tell the truth, and people that respect and understand the truth will say, yeah, wow, that's it. That's the truth. Yeah, good. I'll join.
Okay, but I think it will be better if it was said like anti-natalism, which is stopping to have children, is much better
Antinatalism
because.
is bad. It causes more suffering.
Okay, but you can say that until you have enough followers and enough resources to actually force it. Until then, it's a sabotage.
Okay. How? Like, Basically, you're saying we shouldn't even start. We shouldn't even grow the movement then, right? By your logic.
No. I mean that if you say forcefully, many people will get, scared. They will get intimidated. You think you are here to take their loved ones. You think you are forcing them.
Look, the
But
thing
I'm
is,
saying,
look, we're not threatening humans, right? We need more humans for hundreds of years until we do animal extinction. So we're not threatening humans anyway.
but when they see the forcefully, it
Well, I
feels
don't care. I don't
intimidating.
care what they think at first.
But you are endangering the people who believe in the movement, because one day they'll be seen as terrorists if it gets too much. If many people start believing it, the governments of the world and the billionaires will say this is such a dangerous movement because they are trying to take the economic slaves away from us and they're reducing their numbers. And you don't have resources to force it now. So
I don't have
do you
what?
have any resources? Do you have resources to actually force it, like a movement that makes people who actually want to have children stop having it until the animals are extinct?
No, we need to grow the movement to make it possible.
But it won't grow a lot with by saying forcefully.
Well, we
More
should tell
people
the
will
truth,
support
right?
it.
We don't want people to join the movement who don't agree with the movement. We only want people who agree with the movement to join the movement.
Anti-natalists agree with the movement.
No, they don't.
How?
Because antinatalism does nothing to help animals.
Anti-natalism first tells people to stop having children. Anti-natalism believes that animals should also not have children. They should stop.
And how are you going to do that? Teach them? Open a little school for
Yes.
animals?
No, raising awareness by the people.
Yeah.
You're
You're gonna give the books to the animals now. You're gonna teach them to read.
I meant you are misunderstanding. I meant the humans. You will tell them.
So
most
how
of the time,
is that going to help animals?
it's going to help animals because most animals are reproduced with the help of people. If male and female
No,
animals
they're
are
not.
separated,
No. Most animals are in nature.
No, I mean the animals humans eat, like
Yeah. That's a tiny minority, right? So how are you going to help animals in nature?
Humans will the people who believe in the movement will stop the
Well, no,
animals.
they won't
separate-
exist because humanity they're not having kids anymore if they're antinatalists, right? So humanity goes extinct with antinatalism, and then what?
But even before you start, the force will make you a terrorist because you are saying forcefully when you don't have the means to actually
Legally, it's not terrorism, and we've looked into it. There's actually nothing illegal about what we're saying, especially because, firstly, it's not realistically going to happen anytime soon, and secondly, we're not threatening humans for the foreseeable future anyway.
I think you are, because countries like
Well,
Russia
I don't
and the
care
US.
what you think. I don't care what you think, right? If I'm telling you this is what I think and you're saying, well, I don't think so, then get out of here. I don't care. All right, next. Let's see who else we got. Moving on. Well, Beirut, why don't you start your own antinatalism movement and they can all, pass away from age and then, yeah, I guess it will just disappear. Right? And, so you want to advocate for extinction by not advocating for extinction. That's, Genius of the Year award goes to Beirut. Hello, how you doing?
Hello.
Hi, how's it going?
I think it's okay. I'm not here to debate. I just would like to ask you some questions. May I?
Okay.
I would like to know if you are kidding when you say all of this, and I'm talking seriously.
When I say what?
No offense at all.
When I say what?
Everything. Maybe because something like we should extinct or something similar.
Yeah, it's serious. We should end suffering, right? We should end all suffering. Nobody should suffer.
Yes, but do you agree with me when I tell you that it's not possible, just not possible?
No.
I think it is, because this falls under something similar to a religion. Okay.
How? There's no God, so where's the religious aspect?
It doesn't have to be a God to be a religion.
I think it does.
You can, for example, just have a frame of mind, and that's enough.
Wow, well, I don't have that, so that's completely irrelevant. Thank you for coming on, and sayonara. Right, let's see who else we got. Moving on to our next guest. Hello, how you doing?
I think you misunderstood me. I meant to say that first you do animal extinction, then humans. Like animal antinatalism, then human antinatalism after.
But antinatalism is not the same, is can't cause extinction.
It can cause extinction. Antinatalism is against reproduction.
Right, and how are animals going to decide to stop having children?
No, animals want to decide. Humans will decide for them. The antinatalist ones will decide for them.
Okay, yeah.
Yes.
And what if humanity goes extinct first?
It won't go because they're just waiting.
If you're supporting antinatalism, then it might do, yeah.
But the plan is that first animals go extinct, then the humans will go extinct through antinatalism. It's the same as total extinction, but with certain steps.
Antinatalism is a self-defeating ideology because you're hoping that everyone will do the same, but they're not going to do the same, right? So it's just hoping. It's a fantasy.
No, after you will say antinatalism after you have enough supporters. When you have like 2/3 of the world supporting you, then you can force the other one is telling them what they are doing is immoral, that they're bringing life into the world and they're torturing them.
And you think they'll listen?
No, you will stop them. You will not like necessarily tell them that they can do it themselves.
So here's a question, right? Our movement requires humanity to keep reproducing as much as possible to be the biggest, healthiest, strongest humanity possible so that we can do animal extinction and more extinction after that as well. So how is having an aging, shrinking population going to help with that?
The thing is that animals can also like be extincted with like what? As you said, the other one, the one in the hospitals. I forgot the name.
Euthanasia?
That kills people more. Yes, that one. Animals can be euthanized as well in like large numbers, so it doesn't have to wait for the next generations.
But what if everyone dies before that?
I don't think so. Besides,
well, that's not good enough. That's not good enough.
But you saying forcefully,
you're taking chances, right? You're saying, listen, you've got billions of years of animals suffering, okay? And you have the vehicle, which is humanity. You're saying we should not try to have the strongest vehicle possible. You're saying we should make it as weak as possible.
The most important thing is having many saboteurs. You are sabotaging the saboteurs if you make it seem like it's a terrorist organization.
We don't want discriminators as supporters, right? We need universal prevention of suffering for all, right? A universal system that doesn't discriminate, okay? So we're not going to appeal to people that do discriminate to join that movement. They're not going to agree with it.
I think they can agree with it if you stop saying.
Well, you don't agree with it.
I do agree with it.
You just said you don't. You just said you don't.
I really do. It's just.
Well, now you're lying. Now you're lying.
How am I lying? Okay.
Because I told you, right? We need humans to keep reproducing until after animal extinction and prevention of life developing again. So that is lying if you said
more life is span than animals.
Okay. Well, you know what? It's been a really thrilling conversation. Well, I think we'll park it there. Okay, moving on. Yurang is joining us. Hello.
You organic, Kurt.
Right?
No, I'm saying it's you organic, Kurt. Right.
Cool.
All right. Just thanks for having me, by the way. All right. It's not a debate. I just need a clear distinction of what it is that you're trying to achieve in terms of eliminating suffering. Is it psychological suffering or
all
physical
suffering? All suffering for animals and humans.
All suffering. So have you actually reduced suffering all the way down beyond living organism?
I,
Do cells suffer? Do cells suffer?
probably not.
Bacteria?
Probably not, but they can evolve to suffer.
Right, because if we consider evolution, then would you agree that suffering was emerged?
Yeah.
It came about some way, some shape or form through maybe
Evolution, right? Suffering
evolution.
is advantageous to life and survival.
Right. So any organism with a nervous system will suffer. Would you agree?
Probably.
Right. So what I believe is possible is the reduction of psychological suffering, and psychological suffering is mainly because of our social construct.
What about physical suffering?
Well, physical suffering, as you just explained, right, is through biological evolution. So that's unavoidable.
Why? We can stop it though. We can have extinction.
All right. Consider reproduction, as you and the girl was just speaking about, right? So reproduction is also painful all across the animal kingdom. They all feel pain.
Yeah.
Correct? All right. So it is unavoidable. Physical pain is unavoidable.
Right, but that's why we should do extinction and stop it.
All right. So with the current knowledge, we know that only biological systems suffer.
Okay.
Currently. And we are all made up of matter, right?
Yeah.
Could it be matter in itself is the true cause of suffering?
I would say nature.
Well, there's no escaping nature, right?
Well, I mean, there is, right? You know, when you die, that's it. You're out.
No, you still become a part of nature because your body breaks down, which is
Right,
the
but
protein,
your mind, which
all
is
the
what
nutrients.
you are, but your mind is gone, so you're gone, right?
No, your mind is a mirror of nature, correct?
No, completely incorrect. All right, moving on. Okay, the queue's looking a little bit dry at the minute. There's still a few people, but the queue needs more people. Hello.
Hi, I wanted to talk to you yesterday, but you just kicked me out because you, I guess, thought that I just wanted to ask the question, but I actually want to debate you a little bit. I also think that life is unfair and that suffering is bad and so on and so on, but I just don't. I also hate life. I have all the same thoughts about it. That life is based on suffering, and why are everybody reproducing? Like, I also don't see a point in it, but why can't we make it that physical suffering also doesn't exist? For example, cure all the sicknesses, because death is what actually scares us about life, right?
No, the suffering is the scarier part.
Yeah, but
Death
okay,
is the
what
release, the
if we
safety.
don't have it? What if we have the consciousness, but we don't have suffering? Like, for example, like an AI or something, they can have consciousness.
Promagic.com.
Why pro magic? Why pro magic?
Promagic.com.
I like AI systems are almost sentient, almost. Well, if they become
So
once, then you
promagic.com,
agree?
right? So
what?
Go and register the domain if no one else in the chat's already done it. Promagic.com. Start the movement. Start a WhatsApp group, and try and make magic.
Okay, so you think that it's magical that we don't have suffering, basically?
Because you can't survive without suffering, right? If you remove the ability to suffer, you die, right? You don't. You don't
have
get
you heard
hungry.
about the condition where the person cannot?
Yeah, it's like the worst. Yeah, it's the worst thing possible. It's a terrible life.
Yes, but it's for life. But if you are like bionic or something, then you don't have suffering because you don't have the nervous system, but you still have consciousness.
So you're gonna make every mosquito is gonna be bionic now.
What do you mean? I don't
What about
understand.
animals? How are you going to help animals? You're going to have
Uh,
bionic mosquitoes?
Well,
That
I guess
sounds scary,
they
to be honest.
might need to die, I guess, yeah, in that case, but like the consciousness itself, I'm scared to lose it, you know? That's what I'm holding on to. Not the, like I suffer, yes, I suffer in my life, but I'm scared to lose my ability to think, you
Yeah,
know?
so that's why we need to do it for people, right? They can't make the sensible decisions for themselves. We have to.
Yes, but dying is the scariest thing about, like, my worst suffering is the fear of
You were
death, you
fine
know?
before you lived. You'll be fine after.
I don't think so. I won't be fine. I want to know
You were
things. I want
fine
to
before. You'll be fine
discover.
after. You'll be fine
I,
before. You'll be fine after.
I want to now I'm not fine about me dying, you know?
Well, you will be once you did. Once you do.
Yes, but all my life, I have to suffer. And for example, like if I live in the totalitarian society where everybody is programming you to die, I would be feeling very bad in it, because for me, my sentience, if it was in the computer, it would be the best thing for me actually. Because have you watched the series like Black Mirror and the
Yeah, but
episode
look,
where they
death is
where
really
they
not
live
that bad. You were fine before you lived. You'll be fine after. And the majority of time in the world, you're going to be dead anyway, right? Throughout the rest of time.
Yes, but
So-
I love being conscious and exploring things.
Okay, but not
you
everyone
know?
does, right? So extinction helps those that are suffering so much that they do need extinction.
Yeah, but they can just kill themselves, I guess.
You think babies in dungeons can kill themselves?
No, not babies. But I don't know.
Do you think
we have to
children can
prevent
kill themselves?
somehow
Do you
the
think
harm
children
to
can
babies.
kill themselves?
No, yeah, I'm saying that
Do you
I'm
think
not
animals?
talking about
Do you think
animals.
do you think animals can kill themselves? So
They are
your
too
solution,
stupid, I guess, to understand.
your solution is to force them into lives so bad that they have to actually commit self-harm.
No, I don't want.
That's what you
just
just
want
said.
to make some things that you
Kamilko,
don't feel
you're cooked,
pain.
you're served, you're out of here, you are finished, okay? Your solution is those children being molested, they can just, get a piece of rope and hang themselves. It's such a great experience, right? What a perfect solution. What a great solution. That's it, guys. We solved the problem of child abuse. We went around to every house and gave them a noose. And we said, look, if you ever abuse your child, make sure they've got access to this noose and teach them how to use it. We've solved it. Child abuse has been solved, everyone. Just give them a noose or a knife or something, right? This perfect solution. Just so ethical. Unreal. Hello, how you doing? Didn't mean to come on. Fair enough. Let's see who else we got. Okay, let's see. Let's try and get some fresh faces up. I hope this shows how deranged people can really be. Exactly. Yes, I've said it yesterday, and I'll say it again. But my show on TikTok is basically people come on, think they know what's what, and they get more and more desperate and more illogical until it's like they're saying that babies can
I
commit
need
suicide.
you this time to not exit me out. You need to wait and have patience and listen to everything I have to say. Okay?
Maybe.
Can you do that before I talk about anything?
I
Can
can't
you
promise that.
me?
I can't promise that.
I need you to promise
Just do your best. Just do your best.
No,
Let's
no.
hear it. Come on.
I need you to promise me
No,
that
I'm
you
not
won't
gonna
kick
pro-
me
I'm not
out
gonna
for
promise
any
that.
reason.
I'm not going to promise that.
I need you to.
Then I'm going to kick you out now. All right. Okay. Yeah, the queue is looking pretty empty. There's a few people that are kind of butthurt in the queue, but I'm not counting them. So on that basis, yeah, not really many people in the queue. I think we're just going to have to go for a monologue, right? Everyone loves my monologues. They adore them. Hey, James, I think you misunderstood me. Can you add me back? I think I did understand you, Amiro, when you said that, child abuse helps you grow. And cancer helps you grow. That's it. Amiro said, terminal cancer is good for your character. That was a really good one. Okay. Hello, how you doing?
I have a question.
Sure.
Why do you want people from your movement to have children?
Because we need to get more rational genetics into the population. So, you're more likely to have a kid with our genetics and ability to agree with us than not, basically. So it's a genetic thing. So yeah, spreading our genetics helps spread the movement.
But isn't there a risk that your children might not be happy in existence?
Yeah. But if we don't take that risk, then it's even worse. And actually, the ultimate solution to that is what some people in our movement are doing, and what we encourage is we're donating sperm so that we can have hundreds and thousands of children.
Is that what you intend to do as well? Do you want to have hundreds of children?
Yeah. Thousands.
Well, what
Millions.
if they decide to sue you for bringing them into existence without their consent?
They can't, because I wouldn't be the one doing it, right? It would be the parents using my genetic material.
But without your material, they wouldn't be in existence. So
Yeah,
surely
but
they can sue.
legally, you can't sue for that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, legally you can't sue for that.
I just think it's a bit hypocritical of you to be so pro-natalist whilst advocating for extinction.
This is coming from someone who thinks that you can sue sperm donors.
Well, didn't you post a TikTok saying that, oh, like, if you're unhappy with existence and if you regret being born, then you should be able to sue your own parents?
Yeah, I was joking. You actually thought I was serious.
Well, I'm autistic, so how would I know?
Read the website.
Okay, yeah, I'll take a look at it. But I'm against human procreation myself, so I don't.
Well, we need humans to keep reproducing temporarily so that we can do animal extinction and prevention of life developing, and then we can do human extinction.
But you don't know what an animal's consciousness and brain is like. You don't know that.
Better safe than sorry. Then it's better safe than sorry.
Okay. Yeah, I don't have anything more to say.
Fair enough. Thank you for coming on.
Thanks.
And yeah, read the website, join the movement, join the Discord, the WhatsApp. Okay, I'm looking into the queue. Let's see who wants to join the extinction zone. Is that too cringe to call it that? Probably. The debate zone, all right? The annihilation zone. Right, the thing is, we destroy these people, we kick them out, and then they just spam the queue. And there's no one good in the queue at the minute. We've got Amiro, who thinks that cancer is good for you. We've got... I guess everyone in the queue right now thinks cancer is good for you. If you don't think cancer is good for you, join the queue now. You will be one in a million. Like, you will really stand out from the crowd. All right, Dad Master is coming up now. Hello.
Hey. How's it going?
Good.
So, the question is, you could end all life in the universe very easily, but the question is, how do you know that there's not like a civilization ending suffering without ending life out there somewhere?
Well, you don't know, so better safe than sorry.
Fair enough. Another thing I wanted to say is, isn't the ultimate suffering ending the life of something that's desperately trying to live?
No, the ultimate suffering is to be trapped in a life of hell, begging for death, wishing you'd never been born. That is way worse than dying. To the point where you're begging for death. At that point, death seems pretty good, right?
I concede to that. Yeah, I could see that for sure. So we're very close to having the technology to creating a false vacuum decay that would end the universe.
Maybe. There is an argument that, personally, right? If I had the button for vacuum decay, I wouldn't push it, right? Because the thing is, our moral obligation pushes us to be as thorough as possible. So if there's a way to be even more thorough and vast with our protection for life than vacuum decay, then we should look into it. Like, we shouldn't just push the button immediately, right? We should at least, look into it. I mean, you don't know. Like, maybe the universe will come back or something, right?
So you wouldn't push the button to end all suffering if you had the opportunity to do so?
I would push the button to cause the most vast and thorough extinction possible, right? That's our principles, right? The most vast and thorough, meaning help as many and as much as possible, right? So if it was the most vast and thorough as possible, I'd slap it immediately. Yeah. That's what I was trying to tell you, that, we have to be thorough.
But given the opportunity to press the button on vacuum decay, you would decline because you wouldn't be sure that it was the most thorough way?
Well, if it was like, you can press it now or never be able to press it again, that's a really good question. Well, yeah, I mean, that's not a realistic scenario, but I guess I'd be tempted not to push it, yeah.
Okay, cool. Good on you for not pressing the ultimate extinction button.
Well, we don't know if it is the ultimate extinction button. That's my point. If we can go beyond that, then we should. And, I don't think it'll be that long before we have the science to be able to make a clearer sort of decision on whether or not, that would be the ultimate thing and stuff, right? So 1,000 years from now, the picture is going to be a lot clearer. The thinking is going to be easier. We're kind of in the dark right now, but what we can do is our best and grow the movement to help abolish suffering, because we know that it is absolutely necessary and it's not optional. We have to do it. Dadmaster, thank you for coming up. Okay, moving on. We've got Chalk M6 now joining the stage. The Destruction Zone. Hello.
Can you hear me clearly, James?
Yes.
Okay, cool. How you doing today, sir?
Good. How are you?
Good. Hey, so I gotta be honest. When I first saw a few of your videos, I was convinced it was satire. Like, I was like, this has to be like satire. But then I checked you out, and you seem genuinely, you seem genuinely serious. And I'm not here to troll or anything like that, or nothing like that. But I want to have a genuine conversation. First, I just want to ask you, do you consider yourself spiritually inclined in any way, shape, or form?
No.
Okay. So do you believe that after death, that's just it? We don't exist anymore?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, what if, just theoretically, hypothetically speaking, what if you found evidence scientifically that wasn't true, that you did exist beyond your physical? Would that change your perspective on wanting to cause extinction?
Yeah, we'd have to look into it, right? See if we can make the afterlife go extinct as well.
But why would you want to make the afterlife go extinct? I mean, the problems that we have in this world, like you mentioned before, pain, suffering, hate, envy, all these different things. What if those things didn't have to be a factor beyond the physical world?
Well, look, if everyone goes to heaven, then great, but we should still do extinction.
Well, I wouldn't say heaven like from a religious perspective, like, oh, it's going to be kumbaya and, we're just going to be in happy land. I'm not saying it in that sense. I'm just saying if we could exist in a form where we had free will, but it was just non-physical, right?
Okay, but this is a fantasy though, right? It doesn't apply to real life.
I mean, that can be subjective,
well,
right? I mean, even I'm not a scientist.
There is no evidence, right? So it is just a fantasy for now.
Very true. There's no evidence, and I'm not a scientist either. But but I have heard some people say we're starting to gain information that implies, not proves, just implies that possibly consciousness can exist outside of the brain, right? Because I guess they have technology that can detect, energy fields or whatever you want to call it when someone enters a different state of consciousness or when they die. So if that were true, right? I won't say it's an antithesis.
Yeah, we should study consciousness. We should absolutely understand it fully. Yeah, part of our mission requires studying and researching consciousness. So I completely agree. We need to study it and know how to get rid of it.
Now you do say forcefully causing extinction. Here's my one tip about the forcefully part, right? I get exactly where you're coming from. The world is shit, and we all know it's shit. It's all rigged. Most people don't want to be here. I totally get that, and I share that belief. I share that feeling wholeheartedly. But, however, what kind of precedent is it setting if the people who want to be here are being forced to, right? Like, don't we think we're kind of crossing some hazy lines there?
What do you mean? I don't understand. Say again.
Like so you saying we're starting a movement to forcefully cause extinction, right?
Yeah.
So are you saying that even for the people who don't want to die, they're just going to have no choice in the matter? Or are you saying those who choose to leave here?
Everyone, no choice.
Oh man, you don't think that's crossing a few lines there?
No, the thing is that it's not good to be alive in unlimited danger, right? So it's better to be safe.
So you're saying you don't value autonomy or free will or volition or anything like that? You're just like,
I'm pro extinction.
Well, damn. Well, that settles it then. Thanks for your time, brother.
Thank you. It's more about pro-abolishing suffering, right? So, yeah, the sufferers need extinction as fast as possible, and you have naive humans out there thinking that they'll be fine, and then, they get hit by a car, they get paralyzed, become a vegetable in a country with no euthanasia, so, they're begging for death, but they can't even say the word, no one hears them, no one will. They'll just keep spoon-feeding them and suffering for decades. It's horrible. Emiro, coming back on now. Okay,
Emiro, so can you hear me now?
Are you going to tell us about how you've changed your mind on terminal cancer being good for you?
Well, I never thought about that anyways, but really? I'm going to repeat what I said now. So what I said exactly, I wasn't really concussing anyone's drinks. I wasn't supporting terminal cancer. What I meant to say was that pain by itself brings challenges, and those challenges bring, different things, different emotions, and they bring resilience.
So violence is good, or what?
No, I'm saying that pain brings resilience by bringing challenges.
So pain is good, so violence is good then, right?
No, violence by itself is not mental suffering. Suffering has different points.
Is pain always good?
No, pain by itself has a very amounts of stuff.
So for some people it's good, for some people it's bad, and you think that those for who it's bad should be forced to suffer that?
It's good when it brings hope. When you succeed, it's good when it brings resilience.
What about when it's not good, Mira?
So it really depends on how the person handles it. We have to teach people.
Look, an animal born into a dungeon, right? A torture dungeon. Are you really going to victim blame them for not being, strong enough?
The animal situation is pretty horrible, but suffering in the end.
But it's their fault for not handling the situation well enough?
I never said that it's their fault.
That's what you just said that.
I don't remember. Can you repeat my words?
Yeah, you said that they need to handle the situation better.
No, I said that the situation by itself with the animals is pretty bad by itself.
That's not what you said, Amira. You are lying now.
How?
You're just lying, right? You said something and now you're denying it.
How?
With your mouth, I guess. All right, you're finished. You're out of here. Okay, moving on to Scepter next. Moving on to Scepter. Scepter is coming up, joining the stage. And you need to enable your microphone, Scepter, if you want to talk. Hello.
Well, let's talk then, Mr. I,
Yeah.
Mr. James. The problem seems pretty ridiculous. Can you break it down a bit?
Well, no one should have to suffer, right? And we should make a world that's suffering free.
But extinction is not the pathway towards that. Is that?
Well,
is that
but I don't know, because does the dodo bird still suffer?
well, the dodo bird is not currently with us, so.
Oh, so they're not suffering then. Wow, that's amazing, isn't it? It's funny how that works. Funny how extinction does end suffering.
Well, the thing about it is you can't end all life, right? Can you go and kill all ants? Nope.
Yeah, why not?
Why not? It'll take too much time, too much manpower, and
too much time for who? Too much time for who?
Why don't you get consent from the insects?
Too much. What do you mean it will take too much time?
How can you get insects?
You're being intellectually dishonest now. You're dodging questions, right? So let's slow it down. Let's stop dodging. Let's stop dodging questions, okay?
Go for it. All right, shoot.
So you said it will take too long. Too long for who?
Too long for any individual lifetime.
Okay, so we do it multi-generational.
Well, you'll have to get sign-on from a multi-generational group of people.
Huh?
You'll have to get a sign-on from generations and generations of people to carry this out. And that's
we have a movement. We have a movement, and yeah, if it takes multiple generations, then
I think your movement is bollocks. And I mean that with all due respect.
Well, that's not very logical, is it? Right? That's a bit of an ad hominem because I'm pushing you on the logic here, and you're not being able to respond.
All right, let's go back to the
I'm pushing you on the logic here, and you're not giving me logic back. You're giving me insults.
All right, let's go with this. Let's just say I want you to cease your own life.
I did expect, kind of, that he might have been one of those sad people that can only resort to saying things like that. But the dodo is not suffering. But right now, in the imaginations of these people, the dodo bird is in hell right now. It's in one of those afterlives that means that we shouldn't do extinction. The dodo bird is just burning in hell for all of eternity. And all right, let's see who else we got. This guy is impossible to debate with. You're damn right. You can't debate against abolishing suffering. There's no logical argument that child abuse should continue for all of eternity, right? There just isn't one. There's no good debate argument for, child abuse is good. Terminal cancer is good, right? You just end up sounding like a clown. There is no argument against extinction. There just isn't one, right? It's the only ethical and moral thing. Otherwise, what's the alternative? Look, you either have extinction and no suffering, or you have the unlucky ones and the lucky ones, where the lucky ones are continuing to make sure that the unlucky ones keep suffering, right? They ensure that it continues. So it's a system of oppression and cruelty, and nobody should be born forced into a life that they never asked for, where they just get tortured for their entire life, and they're begging for death, right? Wishing they'd never been born. So, right now people say that it's totally fine and great to have all of this suffering, children in dungeons, animals being tortured by sadists. Totally cool, totally normal. It's not, right? That same logic is, if you think that suffering can be justified by pleasure, then why would child abuse be illegal, right? Why should it be illegal at that point, right? It's just the same dynamic. So why is it wrong to cause and allow suffering for pleasure if that's what we're doing already, right? So we live in an immoral society, an evil society that says that suffering's cool, it's fine, it's great, it's beautiful. Our society glorifies suffering, and just ignores and shits on all of the victims, right? And just downplays, laughs at them, trivializes their suffering. And here's the thing, right? The sufferers don't have the strength to speak out for themselves. So the sufferers are literally dying. You know, you're not going to hear from someone that's dead, okay? You're not going to hear from a child in a dungeon. You're not going to hear from an animal ever, right? Animals can't speak, yet they're being tortured by sadists. So you're not going to hear from the sufferers. They're too weak. They've got disabilities. They've got anxiety. They've got depression. And then you've got all the happy people being like, yeah, their suffering is beautiful. It gives meaning to the world. It's fucking disgusting, right? So you've got the sufferers not speaking out, not able to speak up. And then you've got the happy ones saying the suffering should continue. It's literally the most oppressive system possible. And, you know, there really is no point at which this system is different than being a child abuser, right? You're saying suffering is justified by pleasure. And, you know, not a single person that comes on and says that will tell me the ratio, by the way. So I would love to hear from these people. What is the ratio? How much ice cream do I need to lick in order to make up for a child being in a dungeon, right? Is it 10 licks of ice cream? Is it 12 licks of ice cream? How much pleasure do I need? How much ice cream do I need to buy so that that child being abused no longer matters? Okay, how much ice cream? How much pizza do I need to eat so that someone else can? Can I say, oh, by the way, you know, I've had lots of pizza and ice cream today. So you've got a pass. You can go and, you know, you can, no problem. You've got a pass, right? You go and do that. I'll eat the pizza. Oh, actually, I don't even need to eat the pizza, right? If the child abuser is having fun, then the joy outweighs the suffering, as people keep saying on this show, right? Why wouldn't that joy outweigh the suffering? How is it any different? It's not. It's not any different, right? The world is full of suffering, full of sufferers, and then full of selfish, lucky people. And it doesn't matter if they're the ones causing it or if they're allowing it, right? Does an animal in nature care if it's being eaten alive by an animal or if it's being hunted by a human? Does it really suffer more because a human is causing it? Absolutely not. So, you know, part of this entire fantasy that people are believing and, you know, deluding themselves with, one of the biggest parts is that as long as I'm not directly causing the suffering, then it's okay. It's somehow like, but the victims don't care, right? And if there's a child on the street bleeding out and screaming for help, right? Does it matter if, you know, a dog bit them or if a human attacked them? Doesn't make a difference, right? They need help. They're suffering. It doesn't matter who did it, how it happened. They need help. Yet people are constantly trying to say if it's nature, it's acceptable. If it's this, it's acceptable. Just constantly looking for ways to justify child abuse, animal abuse, and the worst suffering that this world has to offer, right? Because as long as we have this world going and we're saying that, you know, life should suffer, shouldn't be safe from suffering, the worst suffering ever will just keep happening, right? Not just like, oh, I'm depressed, I have to go to school, but being in a dungeon for like 15 years from birth and then being murdered, right? Would you want to be in a dungeon being tortured by like a creepy weirdo for 15 years and then murdered? That's your whole life? No, and nobody would want that. And yet these selfish pricks are happy for it to happen to others as long as it doesn't happen to them. And then they say, well, it's good, you know, that, you know, have you never seen a true crime show? You know, if all this crime and abuse wasn't happening, we wouldn't have entertainment. That's literally like the level of ethics and morality that most people have in this world. It's ridiculous. Okay, looking at the queue, it's not looking amazing. Maybe I should call it here. You know, it's been like, what, quite a few hours now. Quite a long stream. You know, I've been wearing this shirt for days now. It needs a proper wash. Just for my streams, you know, not all day, every day. Okay, let's go to the comments. Let's go to the chat. Because I'm not even ready to finish yet. I'm enjoying this, you know. And I did a lot better today than yesterday in terms of keeping calm. But despite that, I still have more restrictions from TikTok today on the stream. All right. CMNJ says he'll actually talk this time. So let's hear it.
Right, do me again. Okay, I have a counter for extinction.
Okay.
Pro-togetherness. I mean, we're all around the world. We've all spread out in the world. That's why the world is like how it is. We all just come together and make the world good. Let's all just be there for each other.
But,
make suffering not a thing. Make everything bad not a thing.
That's what extinction does.
No, it doesn't. How do you even know we can die? I could literally come back in another body and it could happen endlessly. So, while I die, a counter is to live forever.
If we do extinction, there is no body, right?
Instead of dying and maybe coming back and living endlessly. Just live
we do
forever.
extinction so that you don't reincarnate.
You do extinction so we won't reincarnate.
There you go.
If you kill us all off, we might just come back.
How? Where?
We all might. So just live forever. Just figure out a way to live forever.
It sounds like you're half asleep or something, still in dreamland. It's just not realistic. Like, I don't know. It's like they're living in a cartoon or something. Okay, still looking for people to join, to come up to the stage. So now's your chance. You've got questions, opinions, you want to discuss, you want to debate. Let's hear it. You know, if you want to come on and say, I agree, how can I help? Join up, right? If you want to ask a question, join up. Let's do it. Let's grow some stones. Okay. Yeah. I really want to join someone up from the queue, but it's like really bad, basically. Right, you guys don't want to hear it. You know, you don't want me to join the people from the queue. Believe me. All right, let's go back to the chat while we wait for people to join the queue and come up on stage. You know, it's totally open right now. So, you know, if you're a hater in the chat right now, come and put your money where your mouth is, right? Man, it's probably not the best debate, but we'll take it. Hello.
Hello. I just want to ask you something. Why do you assume that someone who suffers need to die and not the ones that runs the systems which provokes all the sufferings?
Because the system doesn't provoke all of the suffering. Most suffering doesn't happen because of humans. It
Yes,
happens
the
because of
system is
nature.
provoking the suffering by economy, by the economy.
No. Most suffering happens in nature, and it doesn't care what your ideology is.
The limitations which the system is making, which is a sin. It's a sin. It's programmed. It's everything precisely made in such a way to provoke poverty, and poverty rises either the sexual abuser, either the any kind of suffering. So why don't you say that the ones that runs the systems need to die and not the one who suffers?
Because, you know, you've still got illness, right? So having a better political system doesn't prevent, you know, children from being forced into illness.
Come on. Look at hospitals. The hospitals are full with ill people. Who is the blame? Is the systems the blame? Can you agree on that?
No.
Why
Look,
the people need to take their life? Because the system provokes all that suffering.
The system isn't going to help animals in nature, and it's not going to help children
Leave the
that are
animals.
born.
Leave the animals. We are speaking the ones that run this system.
Animals suffer more than we do. So yeah, they need it more.
Come on, when you came in this life, someone was here running this system. Even when the first man came on this earth, someone still was here running the system. Why don't you blame those who run and made this system to die and leave us free?
Because
happy?
again, animals suffer worse than we do, and the system doesn't care about them.
Yes, animals. Second place. We are rationalizing and we are discussing. Why do you condemn the suffering, us, the people, and not the system builders?
Because again, the suffering is independent of the system builders.
The system builders are independent of the system?
No. Look, the person running the world is not able to just abolish all suffering with a decision.
Come on, the person who is running the world. Did you see Biden? Did you see other presidents?
Look,
They are
it doesn't
clones.
matter how good your politics are,
They
you
are
can still
clones.
suffer.
Someone is running them. Hey,
It doesn't
open your
matter how
eyes.
good your
Open
politics
your
are.
eyes. Open your eyes. Someone is running those presidents and all the celebrities.
Look, it doesn't matter how good your politics are. You're still going to have. Look, even with like, okay, let's say you have like the best leader possible, right? The best leader imaginable, me, okay? You're still going to have, children being tortured, right? You're still going to have animals in nature suffering until we end it, right? So if you've got someone that doesn't want to abolish all suffering, guess what? It's not just going to magically solve itself, right? You have to actively abolish suffering. You have to actively do it. And, again, it doesn't matter how good your society is. You could have the best utopia possible. It's still unethical. It's still incredibly immoral if you're forcing life to exist in unsafe conditions where it can be trapped in a life of hell, begging for death. That's the ultimate harm. So, yeah, the ultimate harm is still going to be possible in a utopia. Animals in nature are still going to be suffering worse than humans ever will. And, basically utopia is just, is like a fancier version of what we have now. It's still immoral, right? It's still unethical. Okay, moving on. All right, we've got some fresh blood in the queue now. So let's get some fresh blood on. Hello.
Hello. How you doing?
Good.
I have one question and then one point to make. So you agree with ending all life in the universe, am I correct?
Yeah.
So that means, I believe you said before, that you want to prevent all life from evolving on other planets and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
So how is your plan basically to keep humans around for as long as you can until we can ensure that that's the case, that no life will evolve?
And we might be able to pass the mission over to AI and robots and be able to go extinct a lot sooner.
All right. And I just want to have a point to make, because I don't know how to word this properly, but suffering does happen in nature, but I feel like sort of we're imposing, say humanity in general joins your movement, we're imposing our extinctionist belief, or however you want to call it, onto animals, which is the same logic.
Nature is imposing life and suffering onto animals.
Yes, but we're imposing our beliefs onto animals that are.
No, it's not beliefs. It's more about just doing the right thing.
Can I talk without being interrupted?
Maybe.
Right. So we accomplish this extinctionist movement, we get into power, we are still imposing our belief onto animals.
Morality should be imposed.
No. We're imposing our belief onto animals, which is the same logic as the child abuse and slavery and stuff that you claim is the most reprehensible evil.
How? In what way?
Because we're imposing it on them against their will.
Okay, so let's say you have an animal it's been hit by a car. It needs your help. You wouldn't help it because it's against its will?
Sorry, I don't really understand why you're saying.
I'm saying that, the world has never worked that way, right? We constantly help people against their will.
Well, yeah, but this isn't helping. This is imposing.
Why not? Why isn't it helping?
because suffering is subjective. It's not.
What do you
Unless
mean?
you're,
What do you mean it's subjective?
because it depends on what your sort of moral framework is. If you're religious, then you could, like Christian, you know sort
Well,
of
yeah,
what suffering.
you have people that are bad and think that suffering is good, and then you have good people who understand that suffering is bad. So yeah, you can call it subjective. You can say that there's bad people and there's good people, but yeah, the good people will try and help the sufferers.
You can help the sufferers without causing total extinction, though.
Promagic.com. We have another promagic.com member, everybody. We have another promagic.com member. So how are you going to end suffering without magic?
Without magic, sorry.
Yeah. Or without extinction.
I mean, you can't end all suffering, but
you just said you can, right? Without extinction.
No, I'm saying you don't have to cause total extinction to prohibit suffering.
Okay, it's the same thing with different words, but how are you going to end all suffering without extinction?
Well, no, I don't mean ending all suffering, because that's not possible, is it?
Okay, Alex, you're really struggling here, so we'll let you rest a bit, maybe take some migraine pills or something, come back to full form, full strength. Sounds like you're really struggling there. Joan, how you doing?
Hi, I'm actually in agreement with all the reasoning behind pro-extinction, and I think it's nice that you're someone that keeps talking about it. And I just have one question, not in opposition, but just like out of my own curiosity, and I'm just thinking, like the end goal is to make everyone go extinct, so the sentient life as a collective, we don't experience any suffering. But I just recall, for example, if we're under anesthesia or when we are sleeping, time actually doesn't exist or doesn't feel real to us. And so if we go extinct, but then after trillions and billions of years, somehow, for example, if we somehow life still formed and our consciousness would get immediately transferred to that moment, even though millions and billions of years have passed. So in that sense, isn't it just about us?
There's no evidence of that, though. So we have to operate on the scientific method, right? And so, yeah, if we find evidence of that, then we can incorporate it. But until then, it's not practical to proceed on that basis.
So you're saying that if we do enough research, we would be able to ensure that no life is ever going to happen again?
Potentially.
Potentially, okay.
We should try, right? We don't know yet, but we should try.
No, okay. That's very interesting, because part of me do think it is a very promising theory, but just there's just too many steps far off ahead, right?
Why too many, right? It's almost like saying we've got better stuff to do. We don't.
No, I mean not in the sense of not having everyone go extinct, but just in the sense of there are so many steps, even in a material sense, that there are many steps that we need to do in order to make sure the extinction is total. They're just a lot of...
It's going to happen either way, right? This is the right thing to do, the only right thing to do. It's going to happen either way. So you either get on board and help make it happen faster, or you don't.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah. Okay. That's all my question.
Great. Thank you, Joan.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's simple. You either believe in magic or you believe in practical, real solutions to end suffering. Look, do you think that animals in nature are somehow going to just suddenly be okay? And look, the thing is, you could try and reduce suffering, right? And even then, you can't do that for animals, right? Most animals are eating each other alive, fighting for survival, fighting for food, for resources. How is that ever going to get better, right? It's just not. And even if you could try and improve it, it would still be unethical to do so, right? Because the priority is ending suffering and preventing suffering, and extinction is the fastest way to do that. So the thing is, if you're going to say, right, we're not going to use the fastest method to end suffering, then you clearly don't care that much about suffering, right? And without that sort of guiding principle, you're never going to care about suffering properly or responsibly. So suffering is too extreme to allow. It's too extreme for anything else in this world to be the priority except for ending suffering and preventing it, right? You know, people treat it like it's just someone stubbing their toe or something. But no, you've got like suffering that's like 1,000,000 out of 10, okay? You've got a billion out of 10 level suffering, right? Some people, some animals suffer way, way, way worse than we like to think about, right? Because it's comfortable, it's emotionally pleasing for us to not think about the really bad types of suffering. And that's why we ignore the sufferers, why people just ignore them, just completely blank them out. Yeah, it's crazy. So yeah, you can't ethically or responsibly deal with suffering in a way that says that it's not the top priority and it shouldn't be ended as fast as possible. Because basically, like, look, I kind of do this a lot on the show, but you've got like maximum priority for sufferers, and then you've got like, you know, the pleasure, right? You've got safety from suffering and you've got pleasure. Right now, it's like this. We've got people saying, no, pleasure, you keep the suffering going. We need to make it the opposite, right? So where, you know, suffering is more important than pleasure, infinitely more. Right now, the vast majority of the world says that pleasure is literally infinitely more important than suffering. So it doesn't matter how much suffering happens, how bad it happens, as long as we can keep the possibility of pleasure, then that matters more. So it doesn't matter how badly you abuse your child, it's acceptable for pleasure, right? For someone else's pleasure. It's completely upside down. So no amount of, doesn't matter how much pleasure the child abuser has or how little his victim suffers, it's not okay. And that is the same dynamic, right? So you have suffering and pleasure, the child abuser, his pleasure, the suffering of his victim. And yeah, so, you know, the child abuser, he wants his pleasure to be here. He wants the child's safety to be down here. And that's what everyone on this show is coming up and saying, right? Yeah, pleasure over the child's safety, quite literally. We need to make it the other way around. And the thing is, it's not going to be like this, right? It's going to be like all the way, okay? Pleasure has zero moral value in relation to safety from suffering. Otherwise, you're saying that, yeah, child abusers, as long as they get enough pleasure out of it, then the victimization, the abuse is justified, right? The thing is, like, these people are saying that, yeah, there's a certain amount of pleasure justifies a certain amount of suffering. So by that logic, yeah, as long as the child abuser is having a good enough time, you know, having a beer and high-fiving his friends while doing it, right? Then it's fine. It's not fine. No amount of pleasure, no amount of happiness can justify extreme suffering. So yeah, if we had to, Thanos a billion people out of the way to protect one child, one person, any life form, one life form, right? Protect one life form from a bad life or extreme suffering, any amount of suffering, as long as it's unacceptable, then yeah, billions of people gone, right? Their privilege, their pleasure has zero value. It's not important. It's not necessary. And people really, really struggle to understand this. They think that as long as there's loads of pleasure, then some suffering is acceptable, right? It's an easy, unintelligent position, right? It's a really easy position for them. As long as there's loads of pleasure, then some suffering's okay, right? It must be, right? It's just like basic mathematics, but it doesn't work that way. That's actually just a massive misconception. It's what slave owners would say. Well, think of how happy I am. That the slave is making me happy, so it's okay. It's not okay. It's not okay, and you're never going to have just a small acceptable amount of suffering. And why should those victims have to suffer, right? Why should they be tortured so that the rest can selfishly have fun? Okay, if those billion people were good people, then they wouldn't hesitate to give everything up to protect that one life form. because that matters infinitely more. It's the only right thing to do. Your selfish pleasure is not more important than a child being safe from being abused horrifically, an animal suffering terribly in nature, any life form suffering terribly. Their safety is more important than your pleasure. Okay? And there's no amount of pizza that you can eat that makes up for a child being abused, an animal suffering, any life form suffering. No amount of pleasure can make up for suffering being inflicted on others. Otherwise, yeah, what? You are saying that child abuses can be acceptable, right? If not, why not? What, because you're causing it? Doesn't matter, right? Causing it and allowing it is the same. The victim suffers the exact same, and therefore it's just as bad. And allowing it is, again, it's like it makes them feel comfortable emotionally. But if I know that child abuse is going on next door and I'm not doing anything about it, then that is just as bad as causing it, right? If you can help and you decide not to help, then you've decided not to do it. You've decided that they should suffer. And it is just as bad as causing it, because the victim suffers just the same. Okay, so it's only bad for the victim. That's what matters. Hello, how you doing?
Good. How you doing?
Good.
I was thinking about what you're saying and everything, and I think I found a flaw in your argument, in your idea about ending all suffering, right?
Yeah.
Have you considered that, let's say you end up all suffering, right? You end all life, everything. Have you considered, though, that based on the findings of the quantum field, that life will eventually come back again because you cannot eliminate what is eternal, which is the quantum field?
Okay, but even
So
if
even
it
though you
does,
eliminate all
even if it
life,
does,
in a
even
billion
it
years
doesn't
they'll
matter.
come back again.
Doesn't matter. Even if
Then
it
it'll keep
does,
coming
it's still
back.
better to help. If we
But if
can
it
only
keeps
help,
coming back,
doesn't
shouldn't we
matter.
find a better way to make
Well, then it's just
it
going to keep
better
coming back
instead of
anyway.
worse?
No, then it will
Right.
just
So
keep
if we're
coming
gonna,
back.
right, that means life will keep coming always, no matter what. So then you
No,
might as well
it
make
doesn't
it
mean
better.
that. That's some schizophrenic fantasy you've got.
No, that's
But
quantum physics, brother.
nah,
Quantum physics. Oh,
you're trolling, bro. Look, okay, I've heard this idea before, right? And I'm going to address it properly without the nonsense in the background, okay? So, some people make this argument that, shouldn't we build up the world, right? Build up the world, build up fortresses, an amazing world, because life will just come back anyway. So, why erase our progress, essentially, if it's going to come back anyway, right? Why guarantee that we restart from zero? But that it doesn't actually make sense, right? Because we can do the same plan with extinction, right? So, you're not going to solve that problem by having cities on planets, right? That doesn't solve the problem, and it just causes more suffering. And ultimately, that's like saying just allow infinite suffering. That's illogical, right? So no, we should minimize suffering at all times as much as possible, and minimizing suffering doesn't cause more suffering like he was suggesting. That just doesn't make any sense. If life is always going to find a way, then how is keeping life going going to help that? It doesn't, right? It just doesn't. So that doesn't make sense, right? The same extinction system that we'll be employing can do an even better job, right? His idea wouldn't even be trying to prevent life. So it would be making life way worse, basically, way more common. So it just doesn't make sense. It's completely backwards, completely upside down, extremely irrational, illogical. Doesn't make sense. All right, bringing up Isaac next. Isaac, we're bringing you on. Hello. Okay, thanks, Isaac. Okay, that's it for today, everyone. Thanks for joining. Follow me. Check my videos, join the movement and begin activism. Take your first step to becoming a good person and taking action for the sufferers. It's not okay to just crack on with your own life. The animals, the sufferers need our help. They need your help. So do something, take action, do activism, stop being a sheep, become an activist, become a hero for the victims, right? Become a good person, become someone that says, yeah, that they need help, I'm going to help them. All right? And yeah, join the movement through the button on my profile. You can click on the website. You can join the WhatsApp, the Discord. You can join us, join the community. We'll help you do activism. Ask us for help, and we'll help you every step of the way. But it's as simple as making videos. That's the best way to grow the movement. You know, put the message out there. Ask people to join through the website, and help us grow until we have enough people to change the world, make it against suffering, take power, either democratically or by force, by revolution. The victims need us to do it either way, right? So that's not going to change. And, you know, the victims don't need the help less just because the oppressors, the ones in charge, are telling us not to do it. The victims matter more, and just helping them as fast as possible matters more than, you know, giving the oppressors in this world, the selfish ones, a comfortable exit or anything like that. No, that's what Gary Mendham, the leader of Ephilism, said, right? He said that we should prioritize the existing people, give them a graceful exit, while all the sufferers keep suffering, right? So people are just constantly on this stream favoring the lucky ones and ignoring the unlucky ones, right? We have to prioritize the unlucky ones, the sufferers, at all costs. At all costs, right? They are top priority. Nothing else matters. Your happiness doesn't matter, right? Your privilege is worthless, okay? Helping the sufferers, that's the only thing that matters. It's way more important, okay? Way more urgent than getting another ice cream. Okay, thank you everyone, and we'll see you maybe tomorrow.